But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out. I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane. I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
Self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest. Into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. Wait, are we actually doing this? Yes. Holy smokes, I pushed all the right buttons, I believe. I think we're okay. That's a small miracle in itself. What's up? Welcome to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This show is live. If you want to be part of the show tonight, the number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord. The phone number and the Discord link are at troubledminds.org, the official website, troubledminds.org. That's all you need to know. It's got all the things you need over there. All right, now, this show is when we get together Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. So, as you know, this is more of a conversation. This is not me preaching to you, trying to tell you who to vote for or what to do or how to live your life or any of the rest of those things that you can turn on so many other radio stations around the country and have people doing that. We're not here to do that. We're here to ask some questions. We're here to kind of look at the news cycle in a critical manner and just really try and get to the bottom of what's going on in our reality, because things do not seem right, do they? It just doesn't seem right. Recently, this past week, maybe 10 days or so, it's been UFO overdrive in the media. It's been nuts. It's been just one thing after the other. We get we'll talk about this, and I got some clips to play as well. We'll get into that in just a little bit here. But we've had UFO overdrive, like I was saying. We had a comment on UFOs by Barack Obama. We had a comment on UFOs, or more like a non-comment from Joe Biden, and we'll play that as well. We had the White House actually field a question on UFOs from the valiant press corps that is so brave they stick their neck out from time to time and ask a daring question. Well, yeah, so that's what's up. That's what's going on. And it kind of got me thinking about all this, not just in the sense that it seems like the press has kind of taken a 180 and decided that now it's UFO season, right? It's fine. It's UFO season and it's what we're going to do, and that's cool, right? That's all fine and well. That's fine. But I think interestingly that once you start looking, kind of peeling back the layers of what they're up to, they're telling us that there's some other things happening here, specifically more like kind of like the X-Files. And if you guys remember the X-Files, of course, everybody's favorite paranormal UFO fiction type story. I like to think that maybe this show is a little bit like that, and at least we cover a lot of the same topics that they did in that show, right? Chris Carter, brilliant writer, brilliant producer, Mulder and Scully, we love them. But there's some stuff going on actually in the government regarding something similar. It's called the UAP Task Force, right? The Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. Now, interestingly, that's kind of like the X-Files, is it not? And not only that, the word is out that there's maybe one or two people in it, and it's not even like a very large system set up. It's just a very, very small, probably a corner office with some file cabinets and a poster on the wall that says I want to believe, so I like to think that maybe the UAP, the Unidentified Aerial Task Force, Phenomenon Task Force, is actually Mulder and Scully on the case. Call me ignorant, call me a fool, call me a dreamer, call me whatever you want to call me, I don't care. It's all good. But interestingly, so it seems like not just that, it's been suggested otherwise. So we'll get into that in just a little bit, but that's what's on deck tonight. That's the topic. We're going to talk more about not just exactly the UFO coverage that the press has been doing, but some of the things that the government has been saying in relation to this. Of course, if you pay attention to this world, to the ufology and all the rest of the conversations that go on around it, you'll know that Lou Elizondo is out kind of blazing the trail. He's doing interviews all over the place. He did another one today. It's hard to keep up. I can't watch them all. I just don't have time. And he's out there saying, hey, look, I worked at ATIP, which is the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP. And so, he worked in the Pentagon, and they said there was a program that was actually set up to go after UFOs and actually investigate them. So if maybe the UAP task force is maybe a subsection of the ATIP, which could still be in effect, of course, how they change the names in the government and do all the rest of these things. It is what it is. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you other than I'm a little bit excited in that maybe we have, maybe they've hired Mulder and Scully to work in the government. We could do worse, right? We could totally do worse. Okay, so as we have this conversation, like I said, it goes two ways. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. Can I get some confirmation out there that we're not actually on the Fringe FM? Anybody? Try TalkStream Live. Lily said no, but I think she may have tried actually the Fringe website or anything else. Typically, we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, but Joe Roop is he's the owner and the programmer, and so he's on the road. He's actually moving from New York State to Arizona, and as everybody knows, that's not a hop, skip, and a jump. So he's doing his thing and moving, bringing the entire setup down to Arizona. So Fringe will now be located in Arizona State, and actually a stone's throw from me, about a 5-hour drive. So that's pretty cool. So maybe in the future we could have some meetups and do that sorts of things. There was a little bit of chatter about that when he jumped in the Discord not too long ago, a couple days back. But anyway, I digress. So if anybody can check, please do double check. I can't clearly do it right now because I'm, I'm drinking beer. But you know what I mean. My hands are full. So if anybody could please check TalkStream Live, make sure we're not actually broadcasting on there. Because if we're not, there's no reason for me to play commercials and act like it. We'll just do whatever we do. We'll just do whatever we do. Okay. So, all right. So let's go to this phone call. Let's go straight to the phone call, and we've got Paul from New Hampshire. What's up, my man? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you?
Mike, how are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, my man. Doing good. How are you? What's happening?
Well, I'm doing okay. Kind of a little frustrated, by the way. You're talking about Mulder and Scully. Big fan. Watch those shows. Grew up kind of, believing this stuff and believing we could tell these stories. And yet, I think you might have gone through some of the things I've gone through lately. And, we're talking about, when you say you're in your intro, let's talk about propaganda. Let's talk about censorship. Let's talk about the things the government is telling us to do. Let's just say last night I went live. And I'm sure you've been there many times, like you are tonight.
But for the first time ever, I actually brought the truth and talked about it, and I got shut down by CBS. And I think you might be able to relate to this because as a educational show, someone who's talking about, and what happened with me last night was that I was talking about these things on my live channel, New Hampshire UFO Hunter, by the way, Facebook and YouTube, and I got shut down. Copyright tagged. Somebody from CBS, actually, is what it was. I was doing a little dissemination of what they talked about last weekend. Like you've said, UFOs have been nothing but the news lately. And by the way, I haven't seen anything recently around my area. So fill me in if you got new news, but it's all been the same old stuff. Lou Alessandro out there again talking about, how much of a threat this is.
Hold on.
We need to do something.
Wait. Come on, Paul. Let's not misrepresent what he's saying. He's not out there screaming and yelling that it's a threat. He's saying that if we don't know what it is, we should be aware that it may be a threat. All right, that's what he's been saying quite often. Like I said, I haven't watched all his interviews, but you are correct. He's been running the circuit. He's all over the place, and I don't know.
Yeah, okay, Mike.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Just saying, Mike. If we can agree to disagree here, I've taken the other path. Whereas whenever he shows up, or for that matter, mass media shows up, they have been shoving the threat down everybody's throat here. This is a threat. And this threat has been happening for 50 years. So,
yeah, you're right. I mean, well, at least that, some people, I've actually got a quote here. I'm going to pull this up and put it on the screen just to kind of show what we're looking at here. We've got this quote regarding the threat narrative. I'm going to read this to you so you're in the loop here. Harry Reid said this on a Max Moscovich interview, May 25th, 2021. I believe that's today? Yeah, I think that's today. Yep. He said this, quote, "All the information I have, which is quite a bit, I think there has been no indication whatsoever that they are harmful." And of course, he's talking about the whatever they are, these lights in the sky. So there you go. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I get it. I understand. I'm with you. I'm a little sick of like the same type of narratives here with the things that they do. But, it's not all one message here. Harry Reid, he's saying that it's not the case, that as far as he's aware, there's no threat here. So anyway, just
Mike, okay.
All right.
Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly here, but I think this kind of proves exactly what I'm saying, is that why bring it up as a threat? It's a smoke show. It's propaganda. So now, and exactly why I got caught off last night by CBS News, which, by the way, again, if you're going to look at copyright laws, we're educational programs. I'm not taking anything and stealing it, not making any money off you. This is public domain. And once it comes out, we can talk about these things. We can disseminate the First Amendment rights, by the way, guys. Here, listen to that First Amendment rights. We are bound by the Constitution to be able to talk about these things. And when somebody like me or you comes along and says these things, now all of a sudden we have to tone it down because, well, that might sway someone's opinion. And I think this comes right into that whole field of propaganda and voting. And where are we going to go with this? And I just hate to say it, but I've said it all along. We're not going anywhere to a good place. Okay, so maybe, well, and by the way, again, I agree to disagree with you. They've also put these things out. Well, they're not a threat because they never were. If they were a threat, by the way, I've been saying this on my page the whole time for 20 years. If this was a threat, they would have taken over already if they haven't already. There's another good subject for you, by the way. The threat is over. The threat has happened. We're talking about abductions, DNA change, RNA, vaccines. I can't bring that word up. We might get tagged and then have a little flag on somebody's page. But then you go to, let's bring this up, and you get shut down. And that has happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to you, but I kind of disseminated this stuff in a very simple way by where media goes with this. Use of propaganda, lies. Go ahead, Mike. Slow me down here because very frustrated listening to what's been happening lately and where they're going.
Step away from the cliff, my friend. So there are ways, right? Well, in the beginning, we got copyright tagged quite a lot for some weird stuff, and it was not even, like you said, there is fair use. We should be able to do commentary on these things as they're released, but some platforms are just more draconian than others. Facebook, for example, is very tight with their copyright game, and if you play videos, which notice I rarely play videos because that's what usually tags it. There are ways around it, my friend. Just rip an audio file, push play. Matter of fact, let's hear what Joe Biden had to say regarding UFOs. I think you should be able to hear this. Let me click the button, make sure you can hear it.
I'm looking forward to this, Mike. I'm looking forward to this. Play it.
All right, this is what Joe Biden said regarding UFOs when he was asked the question. Here we go.
Bring it.
If you're not asking me immediately,
I'd love to do somebody.
It's something interesting, I think, does not come up. President Obama says that there is footage and records of objects in the skies, these unidentified aerial phenomenon, and he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you. Come on, boss, let's go.
There it is. So they asked Obama, and they wanted a comment from Joe Biden, and he said, "Ask Obama again."
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Wait a minute.
What do you think? What are you thinking by doing this? It's funny. It's just perfect, so perfect. So what I'm going through, my friend. And I didn't do that. I was like, and by the way, this is kind of food for thought for anybody out there that's wondering what's real and what's not. I have done this with not only Fox News, other news stations. I do what I do. I put these live videos up. I disseminate them. I talk to my followers. And by the way, I'm not talking what you have, Mike. I have, 8 people show up. And boy, that's a good night. And the next thing you know, there's somebody in there that's tagging me from CBS. And I didn't put anything, by the way. But if you put this up earlier, before you go online, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to talk about the CBS video that happened. And now CBS might know. My point is that CBS had no clue that I'm up here. And next thing you know, I start looking at, showing this video, talking about it to 3 people, 4 people. People are in and out. And, it's what it is. They're flipping through, scrolling through Facebook. And all of a sudden, somebody in there knows that I'm doing CBS. And I get tagged by CBS for showing a video. So you're telling me there's thousands of people there, or maybe something else, facial recognition, video recognition of my phone picking up a video off of my TV from 6 feet away from my couch. And now they know that I'm telling you the truth.
No,
and all of a sudden I get shut down.
Paul.
We really have to be careful with what we say, Mike. What's up?
Paul, settle down, my friend. Like I said, there's ways around this. It's okay. Like I said, I just played an audio file.
I know,
that was from
Mike,
wherever.
I know.
Look,
it's just very frustrating.
I got you. Let me explain, though, real quick. We got to move on. Paul, we got to move on. So let me explain real quick what I think is happening here. It's what they call that full spectrum control, and they're using it through censorship. Okay, and part of that means that if you actually try and criticize the things they release, the propaganda that comes out, even in a commentary sense, they will. Yep, they'll take you down. That's what's happening, man. So it is a dirty game, and it is nefarious, and we just live in this world. So I appreciate it, man. Like I said, there are other ways around it. Try audio clips, and you could probably get away away with a little bit more. Just FYI. Paul, you're the best.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, and get some hackers. Get some hackers, guys. Get a group of hackers, and then we can hack the pipeline, and then we'll get $5 million for shutting down the East Coast.
Wait. He's kidding.
You know?
He's kidding.
I mean,
He's kidding. He's not actually suggesting domestic terrorism, guys.
No,
Please.
I'm absolutely being sarcastic. If you
you.
haven't watched me, I'm very sarcastic.
All right.
But, there's also a ring of truth to this, you guys. And, watch your backs. That's all I can say. Watch what you talk about. I think, you already know that, Mike, because you're leaps and bounds ahead of anything I've done, even though I've been doing it for 20 years. And I think the difference is you were, smarter at it than I was. And I was just, down. I'm just being an honest guy, guys. You know that, Mike. I'm just down to earth. I'm just telling you what I feel and what I see. And everything I say, by the way, is opinion. There's nothing here. You can look up the evidence. You can, look at the evidence that I have. You can look at the evidence that anybody has and make your own decision. And I think the evidence here and now is showing that we're just not going to a good place with this whole thing.
Agreed, Ben. Agreed. There's a lot there. Like I said, make sure you got to clear yourself. You got to make sure if you're sarcastic, you got to say, that was a joke, everybody, all the censors that are listening.
Is that the law, Mike? Is that the law now? Was that what the law says?
Of course
I'm just saying that because I had to go through probate stuff.
Paul, get a hold of yourself, my friend. Get a hold of yourself. There are ways around it. I'm trying to help you with ways around it, okay? We got to go, though. I appreciate the call.
I know.
Get a hold of yourself, my friend.
Thanks, man.
It's okay, man. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I am.
It's going to be okay. Paul, you're the best, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, okay? Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. There you go. Just I'm just trying to help. There are ways around these things. I understand the frustration of all this censorship because again, we've been slapped with these things so hard. I had one we did on the news show the other day. We do a news show, by the way. It's called Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. It airs Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. on Twitch, and then it goes to YouTube 24 hours after that. But so there was a particular video by a company named Viral Hog. All right, you got to see, just pay attention to who's licensed with what, and if you do, you play a Viral Hog video in any capacity for 10 seconds, you get a copyright strike. You're screwed for 3 months. So it's live and learn, right? There are ways around it. So. But they're cracking down. I agree 100%. So it's okay, Paul. It's okay. I appreciate the concern. I appreciate the call. There's ways around it. If you need help, I'm here for you. Now, this is the deal. We're talking about the X-Files. We're talking about the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, the UAP Task Force, which is a couple people, right? It's one person or two people, something like that. I don't think it's been exactly verified, but it's just an office, right? An office with a couple people in it, let's say. And what are they doing? They're trying to get to the bottom of what UFOs actually are. So we'll get to that in a little bit and some of the other things that Harry Reid has said, like I kind of put up there, and just all kinds of stuff, right? So we've been talking a lot about UFOs and how the media has been treating them recently after that 60 Minutes piece, right? But things change. Things definitely change, and hopefully things will change for the better here. But that's the deal. We are still doing this, taking your phone calls. Again, I'm sorry to get short with you there, Paul, but there's ways, man. We got this. We're going to be able to do this. It's okay. But let's go. This is the deal. We're taking your phone calls tonight. You were listening to Troubled Minds. My name is Michael Strange. We are talking about the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, right? We are talking about, well, what the government has in store for the future of UFOs. If anything. So that's the deal. That's what we're talking about tonight. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Again, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More UFOs, the UAP Task Force, some of the things that was said by Biden and Obama recently, and a statement from the White House. Be right back. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Make sure we all have the buttons pressed properly. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're fine. What's up? We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. I think we're back up. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive, and we are doing our thing. We're talking about aliens. We're talking about the government and how they are treating this, whatever's going on with the press. I don't know exactly what's up. It's a little bit suspicious, a little bit weird to me, but we're getting government officials comment on this. We've got this 6-month UFO report coming out sometime in June. And not only that, we have, statements from ex-presidents. We have statements from Barack Obama, right? Which we talked about. I've still got those clips, matter of fact. Speaking of, let's play it in sequence. So Barack Obama was on The Late Show with James Corden just several days back. We played this on the show last week, on one of the shows last week. But I think it's important to note, right, what Obama said regarding the UFOs. So let's play that clip, and then we'll play Joe Biden after that to kind of give you the full context of this, which is really a whole lot of nothing. Spoiler alert, but I'll let you decide. You make up your mind. Here you go.
Reggie, do you have a question for our guest this evening?
Oh boy, you betcha.
Imagine if you said no. Imagine like, do you know what?
No, I'm good.
Do you know what? I'm gonna skip it tonight.
Yeah, I have a question today. It goes to let's make it for President Obama, since he's here. All this talk about dem aliens with the what are they, UAFs or whatever they call them, all the footage and everyone talking about it. It's like, what is your, I know that doesn't necessarily mean aliens, it is just a UAF, but I was wondering if you have a theory about that.
Well, when it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air.
But you'll tell us off air? Great.
No, look. The truth is that when I came into office, I asked, right? I was like, all right, is there the lab somewhere where we're keeping the alien specimens in spaceship? They did a little bit of research, and the answer was no. But what is true?
What is true? He's going to finish this, but you get it, right? Like we got a whole bunch of laughs. Everything he says is funny when it's not really funny, but it's okay. Fine, whatever. He's Barack Obama. Again, like I said, I laid it on a little thick about it the last time we played this, but that's what he said. All right. There's a part 2 of this. I'll play this, and then we'll have Biden refer back to this, right? Which is basically they don't take this seriously. They don't take it seriously, or the information that they're supposed to give us is really nothing. Plus, we have a clip from the White House on the statement of UFOs today. It happened today. But anyway, let's continue with part 2 of this Obama on The Late Show with James Corden. More propaganda at work, more of the rest of this BS, and just whatever this is. Here we go.
And I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern. And so, I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. But I have nothing to report to you today.
Okay.
Unless, that. See, here's the question. Reggie might secretly be an alien, right? You remember in Men in Black? And so when he asks all these questions, he's deflecting. Think about it.
You are not the first person to have this thought.
Do we know what he looks like behind those glasses? Right? I mean, his eyes might blink in the wrong direction. So that's a question that everybody can think about.
Reggie, is that correct?
100%.
It's absolutely correct. Now, when we come back.
All right, so you get it, right? This is all just a big joke. It's not only that, everybody can't seem to really talk about this without literally giggling. It's really, I mean, are we so far removed from like the reality of like there's actually unidentified lights in the sky that it's a big joke like this? I mean, Obama makes a statement. He's got to slow down and, well, wait a minute, at the end of this, let me make the joke that maybe this dude's an alien. And the laugh track and everybody. Anyway. All right. So then there you go. There's the full context of what the Obama statement was on aliens, right? Which was basically a non-statement. It was he didn't say anything. He said, well, I checked when I was president. They did some research. They said no. Right. And he, threw some barbs out there at the people who might believe these things. Again, right. No respect. No respect. It's still more of a punchline than anything else. Right. Then let's go back to what Biden said. Right. Today. Actually, this was a couple days ago, I believe. But here we go. So now Biden referred back to that disaster that we just heard. And yeah.
If you're not asking me a mean one like you usually do.
It's something interesting, I think, that does not come up. President Obama says that there is footage and records of objects in the skies, these unidentified aerial phenomenon, and he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you. Come on, Bob, let's go.
I would ask him again, and he gets applause on the way out. All right, and so what you probably didn't see, because clearly this is just an audio clip, but in the video there, he says, "I would ask him again," and then he literally peels off the podium and takes off like he's got a plane to catch. And so not only that, he still has his headphones in, and he's like he clanks himself like taking his headphones out. He tried to get away so fast that it's almost like, well, it's a question that his handlers told him not to answer, if you know what I mean. And in any case, all right. So that leads us up to today. All right. So obviously, there's been a ton of press coverage regarding the UFO stuff and all the rest of this. We'll get to the X-Files bit in a little bit. Don't worry. We're still on track for that. But I think it's important to kind of circle back and make sure we see the full context of what the president's present and former, or not former, past, let's past president, because the former president, you're not allowed to talk about that guy. But the one prior. So that guy made a statement. Then Joe Biden made a non-statement that said, go check that other guy's non-statement. You see what I'm saying here? You see what's going on here? Then, well, we had today a White House press briefing, and one of the intrepid reporters stood up and was not afraid to ask this serious question regarding UFOs. So let's hear what that sounded like today.
I also wanted to ask you about a phenomenon known as...
the giggle gives away. I don't know what this question is. We'll see.
So I've already ruined it here. But this is quite a serious issue. There are these unrecognized objects in U.S. airspace that are also known as unidentified aerial phenomenon, I understand. And I wanted to see, there's a DNI report that I understand is going to be released soon. Can the Biden administration commit to releasing it in full?
Well, that would be for a decision by the Department of National Intelligence to make. As you noted, we're aware of the report requirement, and our team at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is, of course, actively working on that report. And we take reports of incursions into our airspace by any aircraft, identified or unidentified, very seriously and investigate each one. But ODNI would be working on that report, and in terms of disclosure, that would be up to them.
I guess in all seriousness, though, can you characterize the president's concerns about these phenomena? I mean, it is this concept of objects in U.S. airspace that are either origin from other nations or other entities, but what is the concern of the president that this phenomenon seems to occur in the national security apparatus?
Well, I think broadly speaking, the fact that we have a team that's actively working on a report, certainly the safety of our personnel, security of our operations, our airspace are paramount concern, whether that is identified or unidentified aircraft. And we don't discuss that publicly for a range of reasons, but certainly the president supports the ODNI putting together a report and following through on that commitment.
Okay, so of note, the thing that I noticed with that clip, that's Jen Psaki, of course, the White House press secretary. And it seemed like she knew the question was coming, right? So, which again is it's one of those things where, it's again the way the media plays softball with one and hardball with the other. So it seemed like the way the first question was asked is the reporter couldn't get it out. They couldn't even say unidentified aerial phenomena without laughing, without giggling. She's like, and it's like, okay. And then Jen Psaki says, oh, wait. I kind of know what you're going to ask by how you're reacting there. So it seems like this was actually an actual prepared statement, right? Like this wasn't off the cuff. It seemed like she actually had a prepared statement regarding this. And of course, she said we take all things in the sky seriously, whether they're identified or unidentified, as she should say. And then she said basically that we don't go into that details and specifics for a number of reasons. All right, that's what she said, and that's legitimate. That's like a actual response I would expect from the government, right? Not this, well, what about Reggie? You think he's an alien behind those glasses? I mean, he's an ex-president, of course, but he's everybody's favorite president. But then we have Joe Biden, right? Ask Barack, ask him again, and then he runs off the stage. You know what I mean? Like there's I don't know, maybe reading into this a little too much. Maybe it's just a bunch of stupid stuff, stupidity, and maybe on my part and everybody else's. I don't know. But should we expect the actual, the powers that be to give us anything? We've got the 6-month report coming in June where they're supposed to tell us about UFOs and the rest of this. But what does that mean? Do we expect a lot out of that? I don't know. Anyway, like I said, we'll get to the X-Files and some of this other stuff in just a sec. Lots of good information that came out today, including that interview with Jen Psaki regarding UFOs. Let's go to Austin. Austin in Michigan. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Oh, what's up, man? That was quick. I wasn't sure how long I'd be on because you got that big show vision going on in my head. I see you getting like secret teachings big. I thought you were a part of it. I think you are, aren't you?
Of which? I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know what you mean. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Go right ahead with your thought. There's no need to break it down here on the radio. Go ahead. So, what do you think about this? These statements from Barack and from Biden and from Jen Psaki? Did you hear part of that stuff?
Probably. I just called in. I didn't hear that. No.
Okay.
But I feel like I probably heard what they said before. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. So the question is this: do you expect the government to give us any information regarding UFOs anytime soon? That's the question, really.
Oh yeah. Like they're gonna keep doing it the way they've always done it.
Okay, which is how? You mean they're gonna?
They just give you like empty answers, like just basically an answer that's just gonna give you like very little information to where it's almost useless, and it even encourages you questioning it. Like I heard that they got these new reports coming out on these mainstream channels. I don't really watch them, so I just hear it from other people that analyze it, and they just have been doing the same old crap. I mean, before they rarely ever talked about it, and now they're doing it more and more, but it's just nothing helpful, nothing interesting. It makes it look boring. They're just like, oh, nothing to see here. It's probably not interesting, or they hint to things like with their double speak. They kind of like hint. Some of these guys will like hint to what they think it is, but they won't actually tell you that because they're paid off. So I can't see anything helpful. I can't see anything big coming out of mainstream unless it benefits like big money. Then they'll have some kind of spin on it, like maybe some kind of fake alien invasion, But maybe there would be some truth to it. But bottom line is that they have some type of financial backing or financial aim behind it, because the upper powers just want to make money off of everything that they can for higher, and the money is like based on debt, so they really just want more people in debt off of like their fear of tomorrow, and this could really benefit into everyone, more people being afraid, because there was the virus, whatever, last year, and now this year, or maybe years coming forward, it'll be like more alien kind of crap. Maybe they'll even say they're like micro aliens, and that's like the new virus, right? And that's why you have to wear a mask. I don't know.
Maybe. I think that's probably a good way to look at it. Is that like we said back in the day, right? You don't really have the thing to be afraid of. You have the government to be afraid of, because who knows how much they're going to take and not give back. Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm very skeptical, not about the existence of UFOs. Clearly, they're a real thing. I am skeptical of the government giving us any information that's not going to be twisted, highly redacted, spun, and misrepresented. That's what I think. And again, I hope I'm wrong. Like with all this stuff, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we do get some substantial information that makes sense. But I just don't see it coming for national security reasons.
Well,
it's the easiest thing to hide.
You might see some people like break their chain and then kind of like disappear, lose their license and all that kind of crap, you know?
Regarding what? You kind of coming out of the press? Or?
With reporting the UFOs and stuff. Maybe there will be some novice that's been reporting for a while, and he's got like whiteboards and tacks all over his wall, and he's like secretly obsessed with this, right? And he just blows the lid off of it, and you never hear from him again. That happens sometimes, you know, with those doctors, with the COVID crap, like Dr. Thomas Cohen and Forel and Dr. Forel, I can't remember the names exactly, but they lost their medical licenses for putting out that Contagion myth book. So that was a lot of information right there, and they kind of showed how serious they were about their work, how much heart they had behind it. I feel like that could happen in any mainstream platform. These people work in their day jobs. They sold pretty much themselves out completely, and then they have a thirst for something more, maybe, that people can turn away from the dark side. It happens.
Yeah, it's part of what we're trying to do here, right? At least in a minor capacity, that is just get the information out, make people realize that there's more than one angle, one way to look at this, and really parse the propaganda in a post-truth world. That's really what the conversation is. So, again, you know, I never proclaim to have any answers here. I can tell you my opinion on things, but I'm not that guy. I'm not like I say, I'm not a doom preacher. I'm not a propagandist. I'm just I'm a guy that wants the truth like everybody else, and that's what this show's about. So, Austin's new, actually, first-time caller. I talked to him a couple nights ago on Discord there. I appreciate you calling in tonight. He says he does security work, and he listens to The Fringe quite often because, well, out there he's got a lot of time, which is fantastic about talk radio, eh? I appreciate you calling, man. Anything else while we got you on the phone?
No, I just have to say that I really need to tune into your show more, because you're like that level. You're like everyone in the secret teachings, the Fringe, the Lighting the Void. They're all like, they seem like they're on the same frequency, and there's so many synchronicities with all of them, and it's like they're all in like the same unseen frequency that's almost like a team, you know? I don't know how to explain it, but it just, everyone has something unique about them that makes themselves like worth a listen. I'm including you, of course, because like you're really good at, from what I see so far, that you're really good at taking the look into that fourth dimension, it seems like, because you disconnect yourself from a lot of the ego stuff, and I see you're really good at cutting it and fighting it off with how you detach yourself. Just now with that statement, too, it's really good for research. Like, I don't know how you won't explode in the underground community with that mindset.
Thank you. That's nice. Shamanix in the chat says it's a family, brother. It's a family. It is. It's a wavelength. I appreciate the compliments. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned. The Fringe is going to be back up full time and doing its thing probably in about a week. So we'll be back better than ever. So thanks again. Thanks for the compliments. Thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. Glad to have another friend out there in the world. I appreciate it, my man. That's Austin from
May the force be with you.
Thanks, brother. You too. Austin from Michigan. Appreciate the call. There you go, guys. If you want to be on the show, easy as that. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link and get in here, and we'll talk about these things. So if you don't know, Joe Roop was, like I said, of Lighting the Void fame, the Fringe FM owner, and the guy that runs the joint, basically. He's moving, like I said. And so he hopped into Discord the other night, a couple nights ago, and just said hi. Quick update. I popped in there, and Austin there we jumped in and said hi as well. So we hung out in Discord for 10 minutes or so and had a nice chat. So anyway, good stuff there. Like I said, appreciate meeting new people, appreciate new callers, appreciate new listeners. And like you said, it's kind of a wavelength. There's a family that's growing here that, people are, trying to discover the truth. And I think that's an important thing. And that's why we do this. So anyway, as this goes and continues to go, you guys know the drill. We're talking about not just the press coverage now. So we've talked about the press coverage of UFOs quite a lot. But and we'll keep an eye on that. Nothing's really going to come out of that except if there's new information, like new hot information that we can kind of add to the discussion. But anyway, so what we're talking about tonight so far, we're going to get into more because there's more, of course, after the break here. But we're talking about the government statements. We've got a statement from Barack Obama. We've got a statement from Joe Biden. And we've got a official White House statement from Jen Psaki. And so good stuff, right? Good stuff. So again, talking about UFOs and including you in the conversation. If you guys want to be part of it, you know what to do. Dial that phone number, which of course is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And you can be part of the show. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and we're just hanging out. We're doing our thing, talking about UFOs and the press coverage and talking about the statements from Barack Obama and, all kinds of other things. So, as always, looking for you to kind of steer the conversation. This is not a one-way thing. This goes two ways. If you can hear me, I'm talking to you. Give us a call. 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. Troubled Minds, more after the break.
secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Tuesday night, one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling we live in the upside down. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and D-Live. And we are taking your phone calls tonight. If you want to be part of the show, the phone number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And tonight, we are discussing the government and how they are responding to all of the media reports of UFOs. As everybody knows, 60 Minutes had a nice little blurb regarding the UFOs and some other things, and the rest of the media went nuts, and they picked it up, and it's been UFOs all the time ever since. And so, oddly enough, strangely enough, weirdly enough, as this kind of clunks out, now we have not just a comment from former President Barack Obama. We have, which is kind of a jokey non-comment, of course. We have a comment from Joe Biden, the current president, which, of course, he said, "Ask Barack," which is a joke in itself. Ha. And then we had a White House statement today, which seemed to be a more professional type answer than, ask Barack, and then run off the stage and almost trip over your headphone that you didn't take off. Because, well, that's what Joe Biden did, by the way. If you don't believe me, turn on the video. go check it out. I'll link it, actually, and you guys can have a look. He literally has his headphones in as he tries to run off the stage as they asked him about UFOs. He says, "Ask Barack, ask him again," and he runs off and almost trips on his headphones he didn't unplug. It's funny. I mean, I think it's funny. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about tonight, kind of the government response here. And not only that, they're supposedly kind of I have this X-Files vibe going on, right? Because they have this thing called the Unidentified Aerial Task Force, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. All right, that's what's going on. So here we go. Here's the actual article. I'm going to link these. I haven't been linking my sources tonight. I'm really bad at that sometimes, but I'm doing it right now. As always, you guys, if I miss a link during the show, I will put them at the end of the show in the show notes in the description box on YouTube, and also you can find it on Facebook as well. So anyway, yeah. So let's go to this. Let's kind of back up what I'm saying here, so you see that I'm not just making these things up. There are sources for this stuff, and this is what kind of went down. So this is from NBCNews.com, and this is the question here: UFOs? Ask Obama. Biden quips when questioned about unidentified aerial phenomenon, right? So, this kind of goes, through. The truth may be out there, but President Joe Biden isn't saying so. The president ducked a question Friday on unidentified aerial phenomena, the subject of renewed interest as the Senate awaits a report from U.S. intelligence agencies on the matter. When a reporter asked him about the recent remarks by his former boss, here's the quote, which we'll play in a sec. President Obama says there is footage and records of objects in the sky, these unidentified aerial phenomena, and he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think? A reporter asked Biden near the end of a joint news conference with South Korean President Moon Jae-in in the White House. Biden smiled and responded, "I would ask him again," before thanking everyone and exiting so quickly he didn't take his translation earpiece out. Exactly. See? I'm not making it up. That actually happened. He ran out of there. He's like, I can't answer this question. I'm out of here. And so it's like, so what's really going on? This is a little bit strange to me that he would be so terrified. That's the president of the United States. I mean, he could have even given a non-answer. I mean, he did really, but you don't have to be scared and run off the stage, right? I mean, crying out loud. But okay. In any case, this is kind of where this started and what kind of got me on this tonight. So there's more. So let's bump over to another to get onto the narrative here. Since we're waiting for you guys to call, basically. So if you want to be part of the show, I'm going to put the phone number up again: 702-957-1037. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. You can be on the show via phone or Discord. Either way works. Okay, let's go back to this. TheDebrief.org. Headline is this: the decades-long UFO taboo the Biden administration will have to face. And, this is a nice long article kind of discussing all the good stuff. This is the debrief.org, pretty good stuff. They do science, tech, space, defense, aerospace, and UAP, which is unidentified aerial phenomena. Okay. And this is written by Tim McMillan and Tom Rogan. Let's read some of this. So the soon-to-be president may not realize it yet, but there's another challenge looming on the horizon involving a subject long relegated to society's fringe. What's up, Fringe? Shout out to you guys out there. Viewed through the lens of history, however, it could end up defining Joe Biden's presidential legacy. We're speaking here of unidentified flying objects, good old-fashioned UFOs, or in currently favored parlance, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. I prefer UFOs. Does anybody else out there also prefer UFOs? I think just a shiny, kind of making a new version of it was anyway. I like UFOs. If you want to call me the crazy UFO guy, I'm fine with that. Anyway, here we go. So right now, with so many more pressing and gravely serious issues going on, this suggestion may seem unhinged. Bear with us for a moment. And again, kind of going through some good information here in this article. Like I said, this kind of started somewhere tonight. It wasn't just kind of a half-cocked idea, which sometimes it seems like when we're doing a show here. But I promise, there's more to it. So let's continue. Let's dig in just a little bit more. Now, this right here is kind of what set me off tonight. This is reported by Politico, and going to link this up, and you guys can check it out as always and follow along. There you go, linking it in all the chats. All right, so very much like I said earlier, it seems like that UAP task force, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, it almost seems like it's the X-Files, right? It kind of seems like it is. All right, well, check this out. This is from Politico. John Podesta, right? Everybody knows that guy. To Joe Biden, release the X-Files, right? And this is what he's talking about. So John Podesta thinks the truth is out there, and he believes that President Joe Biden can help. The former White House chief of staff and Democratic Party luminary has been pushing the federal government to be more transparent on all things UFO, or unidentified aerial phenomena, for people who sound more serious. I don't want to sound more serious. I'm going with UFO. Now, for over 2 decades, this says. Okay. It continues, again, from Politico. Release the X-Files, all right? Now that the Pentagon and the media are taking the subject more seriously, are they, though? We heard what Obama said. We heard how Joe Biden ran off the stage. Yeah, no, it seems like they're not really taking it more seriously. But anyway, since this article says that, we're going to read it that way. But since they're taking it more seriously, Podesta thinks Biden should move the ball forward by creating a dedicated UFO office inside the White House's Office of Science and Technology Policy, which would be the OSTP, right? Quote, they're more used to dealing in an open source environment, used to dealing with scientific information disclosed to the public, and having a conversation with the scientific community than, black programs at the Pentagon, Podesta told West Wing Playbook while driving with his wife across rural Wyoming. Now, the idea for the office, which Podesta credits to novice UFO researcher and journalist Leslie Kean, which, of course, Leslie Kean, her name pops up quite a lot. She wrote the first UFO article that arguably kicked this whole thing off back in 2017 in the New York Times. But anyway, so he credits novice UFO researcher and journalist Leslie Kean would be a central hub to pool all the X-Files from across the federal government and then ideally share them with the public. The OSTP declined to comment. Podesta says he is particularly interested in the 1965 crash of an unidentified object in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania in 1965. Quote, there were clearly more documents generated than were disclosed under the Freedom of Information Act given the attention the government paid to it, he said. This is John Podesta, by the way. Highest levels of office. He ran Hillary Clinton's campaign. He was a Pentagon spokesperson. He was the White House chief of staff, I believe, Democratic Party luminary, they say. Anyway, he's talking about Kecksburg, right? The 1965 Kecksburg, which is one of the most famous UFO crashes out there, right? So anyway, this article continues from Politico. The UFO issue has gotten a flurry of coverage in recent months, from The New Yorker, 60 Minutes, and many others. It's not going away either. Biden's Director of National Intelligence is mandated to produce a public report to Congress documenting unidentified aerial phenomena or anomalous aerial vehicles per legislation signed during the Trump administration. When the Senate Intelligence Committee has been pushing for information as soon as June 25th, some expect the Biden administration to delay the report due to foot dragging by military and spy agencies. And actually, this was I couldn't find this article, but they're linking to it here. So they're saying that the Military and spy agencies accused of stiff-arming investigators on UFO sightings. So I'm going to link that as well, because they're saying that they're not helping them here. They're saying that as much as this is supposed to be real and the information is supposed to be coming out, there's some information here that they're kind of strong-arming. They're trying to keep away from them from releasing to the public. Okay, so not only is there political pressure outside from politicians, they're saying that there's political pressure, or actually pressure from the inside, from the Department of Defense and other places, the DNI, that they're not sending this information out. So here we go. So while the Senate Intelligence Committee has been pushing as early as June 25th, they expect it to be late, of course. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters today that the White House was aware of the report requirement, and our team at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the ODNI, is of course actively working on that report, which, let's just play the clip since we have it.
I also wanted to ask you about a phenomenon known as...
the giggle gives away, I don't know what this question is. We'll see.
So you've already ruined it here. But this is quite a serious issue. There are these unrecognized objects in U.S. airspace that are also known as unidentified aerial phenomenon, I understand. And I wanted to see, there's a DNI report that I understand is going to be released soon. Can the Biden administration commit to releasing it in full?
Well, that would be for a decision by the Department of National Intelligence to make. As you noted, we're aware of the report requirement, and our team at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is, of course, actively working on that report. And we take reports of incursions into our airspace by any aircraft, identified or unidentified, very seriously, and investigate each one. But ODNI would be working on that report, and in terms of disclosure, that would be up to them.
I guess in all seriousness, though, can you characterize the president's concerns about these phenomena? I mean, it is this concept of objects in U.S. airspace that are either origin from other nations or other entities, but what is the concern of the president that this phenomenon seems to occur in the national security apparatus?
Well, I think broadly speaking, the fact that we have a team that's actively working on a report, certainly the safety of our personnel, security of our operations, our airspace are of paramount concern, whether that is identified or unidentified aircraft. And we don't discuss that publicly for a range of reasons, but certainly the president supports the ODNI putting together a report and following through on that commitment.
Exactly. All right. So there's the actual statement, right? So again, this is kind of what led me down this path. Podesta to Biden, release the X-Files. And so he's suggesting, of course, from a very high place in government, he's rubbed elbows with, you name him. He's close with Biden, close with Hillary Clinton, close with basically Harry Reid, I would presume, like all kinds of folks who seem to be in the middle of this whirlwind of the government sort of having to answer for whatever's going on with this. So I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know what to think other than I'm frustrated, of course, with the way this information kind of clunks out. I'm frustrated with how people don't take it serious enough, because it's a serious thing, right? I mean, like literally, if we have lights in the sky and we don't know what they are, and some people think they're aliens, some people think they're all kinds of other things. Who the hell knows? But if even in the off chance that like Paul said when he called earlier, if they wanted to take us over, they would have done it already. Well, maybe, but also maybe they're setting it up. Maybe it's a chess and checkmate situation, and they're biding their time. They're biding their time. Hey man, hey, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, all right. So this article continues here. So interestingly, like I said, so that was the White House press secretary Jen Psaki talking to the reporters today about the ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. And this article continues. Trump's former National Intelligence Director, John Ratcliffe, teased the report on Fox News in March. Quote, frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. And that's exactly what I've been saying for a very long time now, is I'm not convinced that they give us 3 videos and expect us to be okay with that. Because, of course, if they have 3, they have 30. If they have 30, they have 3,000. Where are the terabytes of information? I want to know. Right. And so I've said that I'm going to keep saying that line. If there's 3 videos they've acknowledged as UFO videos, there are plenty more. And there we go. What's his name? John Radcliffe. He right here in this article, he corroborates exactly what I'm saying. He teased, frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public, he said. All right, so Podesta says that there's been a sea change in the way the federal government deals with the question of UFOs and how the public at large reacts to those who express belief in them. Quote, "It was kind of career-ending to basically talk about this subject. That has clearly switched, and that's a good thing," he said. Podesta's own interest in the subject goes back to the 1990s, and John can totally get maniacal and phobic on certain subjects, President Bill Clinton's press secretary Mike McCurry told the Washington Post in 1998. He's been known to pick up the phone and call the Air Force and ask them what's going on in Area 51. So maybe, this guy, John Podesta, is the guy to make this happen. He's also the guy that was, rumored to be into that spirit cooking and whatnot. So I don't know how much of that's propaganda, and I don't know how much of these people eat babies. And I say that, tongue in cheek, of course. I don't mean that as an actual fact of truth. I just, I find it funny that those are the accusations. But in any case, so John Podesta, he's talking about this release, the X-Files, right? And so they do have this unidentified aerial phenomenon task force, all right? So, and notably, I did link this again, but the military and spy agencies accused of stiff-arming investigators on UFO sightings. So as this report is supposed to be released June 25th, and they're supposed to declassify UFO briefings and be able to serve it up to the public as, here it is, here's what we know, and etc. This is rumored to have been going on inside, that the Pentagon and some other forces at work, maybe the Air Force and some other things, are really trying to keep information away from this this task force and the UAP task force, and they're problems, right? It's like this is what you get with a government that's so segmented like this, compartmentalized, is you get a bunch of garbage where one department doesn't want to help the other department even though they've been ordered to. So they play hardball, they don't do all the things they're supposed to do. And then here we are, of course, the people still paying our taxes. Don't get me started on that. Trust me, you don't want me to go on a tax tirade because I might, but don't get me started on that. But anyway, right? We're out here still paying our taxes, still working hard, still trying to do the things that good citizens do, and these guys are playing games behind the scenes. So there you go. All right, so this continues, and here's the actual task force. If you guys haven't seen this, we didn't actually talk about this as much as we should have when it actually happened, because I was not impressed. I was not impressed with how they rolled it out. I was not impressed with how, of course, you don't get a lot of funding in some of these things. I was not impressed with basically a lot of things because, it's the way the government works and, et cetera, so on. So here we go. Let's read just a little bit of this. This is the actual statement. This is from defense.gov, okay? And this is from August 14th, 2020, and for immediate release that day. I think we may have just maybe touched on this briefly way back when, but this is interesting. So, establishment of unidentified aerial phenomena task force, all right? That's what they did. They've actually established this as an actual office inside the Pentagon? I don't know. Here, let's read this. On August 4th, 2020, Deputy Secretary of Defense David L. Norquist approved the establishment of a UAP task force. The Department of the Navy, under the cognizance of the Office of the Under Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, will lead the UAPTF. The Department of Defense established the UAPTF to improve its understanding of and gain insight into the nature and origins of UAPs. The mission of the task force is to detect, analyze, and catalog UAPs that could potentially pose a threat to U.S. national security. Now, wasn't that Project Blue Book? Haven't they been doing this since like the 50s? Now, and this is the thing that pisses me off the most about this. Well, there's many things, but this is one of the things. Is that we don't need an office of a couple people to do this. Like there should be data going back decades, right? It seems like this is just more games, more PR, more political showmanship, more, okay, let's give the people what they want, even though, they're not going to give the people what they want. So anyway, interestingly, as the DoD, Department of Defense, has stated previously, the safety of our personnel and the security of our operations are of paramount concern. The Department of Defense and the military departments take any incursions by unauthorized aircraft into our training ranges or designated airspace very seriously and examine each report. This includes examinations of incursions that are initially reported as UAP when the observer cannot immediately identify what he or she is observing. There it is, right there in black and white on the defense.gov website, an actual immediate release of the UAP task force. All right. This goes back to August 14th of last year. Now, again, what does this mean? Does it seem like they're toying with us by this? And there's a lot of people that are celebrating. Like, people really believe that this is disclosure. What do you think? That's the question tonight. That's again, there we go. I got it out. That's what kind of led me down this rabbit hole of really talking about not just the way the press has treated this now, but how the government has been really kind of trying to play ball with this, at least from the PR perspective, right? At least trying to make us believe that they care about this. And, well, for our sake, right? Yeah. So, yeah, that's MJ says they're making fun of us in the chat. And I kind of agree. It feels like it, doesn't it? It sure as hell feels like it, that they're just making fun of us. Because, again, right, Project Blue Book, J. Allen Hynek famously, Quintanilla, I guess, is the name of the guy that worked with him in Project Blue Book, famously, infamously even. And they had thousands of cases. Thousands of cases that went into the government files. And sure, fine, the cover-up and all these other things. It's real. It's totally real. But then now we have this newfangled, new age disclosure, let's call it. And I'm not so sure that this is disclosure at all. It seems like, very much like MJ said, they're making fun of us. I kind of feel like they are. I kind of feel like this is not the way it was supposed to be. Let's see. Kelly says they did take over thousands of years ago. There we go. We can talk about that too a little bit later if you want. Robert says weird pedo-looking art in his house. If it quakes and waddles like a duck, it's likely a duck. Yeah. Well. Okay. Quacks and waddles like a duck. My bad. I read that wrong. Okay. So in any case. I don't know. Let's see. We got another one here. Lily says in the Fringe chat, disclosure, it's become a mockery, and it sure seems like it, doesn't it? I think it seems like that. And like I said, people are excited about this, and I don't want to burst too many bubbles here, but I just think that they're not going to tell us anything. Matt says in the chat, this isn't how I thought disclosure would be. Oh, you mean the media spin and the government disinformation? Well, welcome to 2021. Yeah, it's funny, not funny, isn't it? It's one of those situations. Okay, so anyway, we're going to continue talking about this. You guys know what I think, but I want to hear what you think. So, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Give me a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Still talking UFOs, disclosure. Is this going the way you thought? Thanks for the line, Matt. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds, more UFOs, more government disclosure after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on DLive, Facebook, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We are talking about the government and how they've actually positioned themselves to answer some of these questions regarding disclosure, right? Yes, that disclosure, the big D disclosure. What aliens are, do they exist, what does the government know? That disclosure. We've got comments from a former President Barack Obama. We've got a comment from Joe Biden. We've got a comment today from Jen Psaki, the press secretary, regarding UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. And as we continue talking about this, there's a lot of fascinating angles to consider and to think about. That's what we're doing tonight. Looking to hear from you if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can go to troubledminds.org, find the phone number and the Discord link. That's all you need to remember. Troubledminds.org. Find everything you need regarding this show. All right. So, while we were away on the commercial there, had a great question in chat. So first the chat was saying things like this, just kind of monitoring the chat and hanging out and, kind of being the social thing, right? Doing the social stream and the whole deal. And, some people in the chat saying, I agree that it seems suspicious. It seems like they're making fun of us. It seems like they're keeping information back. It seems like all of these things, right? Which is kind of what frustrates me, is what I've been saying quite a lot here. But I had a good question here in the chat, among many. But Lucy Bell 47 says this. So what would disclosure look like to you? And I think it's a valid question, because some people are saying, well, this is not how I envision disclosure at all, and me included. And so clearly, I'll answer the question just for the record, so everybody understands why my frustration with this process, why I think we're being taken for a ride, and why I don't expect anything to happen when this declassified report comes out. So disclosure to me. So notice Tom DeLonge, To the Stars Academy, this whole bit. We had 3 videos, right? We had the gimbal, the FLIR, and the Go Fast, all right? We had those 3 videos. And so, some people credit that entire movement for making this all happen. Sure, fine, right? But if that's really the case, and this was really disclosure to me would be a government in good faith saying, look, we have not only these 3 videos, we have thousands more. And you can't tell me they can, pick 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them and clunk them out, every so often and say, look, these are the ones we have no idea what the hell's going on. We don't know if this is ours. We don't know if this is theirs. We don't know if this is from Alpha Centauri. We don't know anything about this crap, right? That is what a disclosure would be to me. Some honesty. And from a government entity, you're not going to get it because, of course, they spin everything. Everything's a PR event. Everything is just like we heard from the White House press corps today. It's a scripted PR event is all it is. It has nothing to do with telling us anything we didn't know. It's, and everybody's excited about this. I don't get it. Like, fine, sure, UFOs are in the mainstream, but I feel like MJ said, like they're making fun of us. Like we've been talking about this for years on this show, literally years with an S. And there's other people been doing it a lot longer than we have. And so shouldn't you actually have a good faith effort at some point? And that's what I'm saying here. That's why this kind of irritates me, and this is kind of why I'm. It seems like I'm a negative Nancy about this, but I promise you I'm not, and I don't mean anything about Nancy's out there. I'm sure you're all fine people, but it's just a term. So you know what I mean. It's if they have more information, let's see it. I would be more willing to believe you if you said, "Look, I have all this data. I'm not going to show any of it to you, but I promise you, we'll give you something soon," right? It's going to be redacted. It's going to be blacked out. It's going to be all those things. We know that's coming, but you got to give a little bit if you want us to believe. If you want me to believe, I'm not going to believe because Dr. Stephen Greer says some things. He can conjure some UFOs. I'm not going to believe it. If I see it, that's one thing. I'm not going to believe people saying these things. All right. I'm not going to believe the government saying, well, we'll tell you what we know about UFOs, and then not showing us anything. Right? You get it? That's my frustration. Like I said, I want to believe like anybody else. I want the information like anybody else. I want the truth like anybody else. But I think the government has given us many, many reasons to disbelieve that process is happening right now. All right? And so, again, I may be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and they change course and they do something else here. And I get it. I know that the UFO community is extremely polarized and all that. Like, I get it. I understand lots of people don't like me because of the takes I have, because I'm so negative about this stuff sometimes. But I'm telling you, I want what you want. I want to know the truth here. And part of that is not sitting on our hands waiting for a highly redacted report, which I'm telling you is coming. They're going to tell us nothing. I'm pretty sure of this. It's going to be what they call a nothing burger. And then they'll say, look, well, that's what we know. If they're given pushback inside the DOD, inside the Pentagon, inside the Air Force, which, again, let's pull that up. Let's pull that article up. This is what's happening, right here. This is from Politico again. I'm going to link this if you guys haven't seen this article. I was looking for this. I saw this a while back, and I couldn't find it. So I'm glad it was linked in this article I had tonight. But check this out. So the military and spy agencies accused of stiff-arming investigators on UFO sightings, meaning that even the UAPTF, the UAP task force, cannot get the information out of the DOD as they need for this report. So number one, right, and you know, the inspector general's involved and all these things now, and this case going on and all this stuff. But this is one of the reasons, right? Is this compartmentalization compartmentalization of government is what causes these sorts of things. You know, just the left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing. You having to have secret handshakes to get into certain things where you shouldn't. People with egos and you know, years and years of one policy being told it's changing now, and they won't because, well, I'm from the old school and we don't do that. You know what it is? It's nothing. This is a whole. Well, it is something, but it's a pain in the butt. There you go. Okay, so anyway, like I said, I can read more of this and I got more articles and things to talk about, but it is interesting to note that they are being stiff-armed. Is that the UAPTF that's supposed to be putting this actual report together isn't even getting the information they need from inside the Department of Defense, which should tell you quite a lot about what's going on here. So anyway, I'm going to put the phone number back up. I'd love to hear from you. Am I wrong? I'd love to be wrong, guys. So it's okay. Like I said, I have an ego like everybody else, but it's not that fragile. You can bump it here and there, and it's all good. If I'm wrong, I'd love to be wrong. Can you tell me why? If you can't, and you agree in some sense, or you just want to have a conversation, that's what the show's about, after all. Give me a call, 702-957-1037. Now's the time. We got about 20 minutes left on the final segment here, so if you want to be on the show, actually, I think I have Jay. Yeah, let's go to Jay, actually. Let's go to Jay in the caller queue on Discord. What's up, Jay? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Good. Shutting down the iPad. You're wrong, Mike.
Thank you.
It's not aliens. They're going to tell us that vampires and werewolves are real and werewolves are Sasquatch. And we're all in a whole bunch of trouble. Been going on for millennia, and they're going to eat us.
Okay.
So we got to fight. You know?
Okay. All right. So it is what it is. They're going to tell us all those crazy things. And then what, though? So again, so you think they're making fun of us? You think they're making fun of us, right? Is that
absolutely
the
dragging us on? Yeah, Bailey put up that clock when they first, a year or so ago, when the bill got signed as part of the stimulus package, wasn't it?
Yeah, in December. The countdown.
Yeah,
the countdown to the report.
And then Bailey put the countdown up there for us. That was kind of funny.
What is the countdown?
It was monochrome.
What's that website? Do you remember?
It was a little link she gave me in the Discord chat, like way back.
Okay, I was
impressed. She set it up in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, well,
I asked if someone could put one up, and she bam.
All right, if you remember the website, let me know. I'll share it. Anyway, all right. So okay. So okay. Now, like I said, a lot of people are excited about this disclosure process. Now, do you think that there's a reason to be excited here? Like I said, it's okay. Like I'm fine being wrong. It's not about that. This is about getting.
It's a step in the right direction.
Okay. All right. Explain.
You're right. There's going to be, we should set up a pool or something like that. Is it a 1 Sharpie report or a 2 Sharpie report or a 3 Sharpie? How much of it is going to be magic markered over? Names, dates, stuff like that to protect the innocent, whatever.
Exactly. Dragnet. The old
Dragnet. I know people that people made fun of when we were kids growing up. Oh, that guy's a UFO nut guy, He's got a tinfoil hat.
Right. Well,
don't talk to him.
They're still saying stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't, you know what I mean?
I got a suit.
Say again? Sorry?
I got a suit. A tinfoil suit,
Oh, sweet.
Head to toe, penny loafers and all.
Sweet. Okay, you should start selling those. You probably make a mint. All right, so now this is the thing. Like I said, if they're getting pushback from inside the DoD for this UAP task force report, then and the IG's involved again, right? The speed of government. It's called that for a reason. All the bureaucratic hurdles they have to go through. And I'm not hopeful for this. I'm hopeful that I'm wrong, but I just think that given this information, that the way we see, the statement come from Barack Obama, they're still making fun of this. I know they're on a late show, they're looking for laughs. Biden literally running off the stage. Wait, I got my headphones on. Help! I got to get out of here. Ask Barack again. Like, and then the press secretary Jen Psaki read it like it was like that exact press release from
she
ripped
the page out of the girl with the binder with the Post-it notes hanging off the corner.
Exactly.
Here, if anybody ever asks you this question, here, read this.
Exactly, and then just read it.
We got to work on this alien thing together, no matter what our politics are. We got to keep this secret.
Exactly. So I don't know. I got a little bit more to get to. So you want to hang tight till after the top of the hour here, or a final thought?
Fine.
Final thought while we got you on, my man.
Just they're going to throw us a bone to keep us interested. The bad thing about it is, all this time people thought we'd been walking around with tinfoil hats and everything else like that. We were the ones that were. I saw one. I saw it,
Exactly. Like many of us have seen things in the sky that seem suspicious, that seem compelling, that seem worthy of a discussion. And that's part of why I'm doing this show. I've seen some weird stuff too. And so the question becomes, right? Like, how much do you trust your eyes versus how much do you trust a government statement that is well written for a PR front and, of course, redacted of any good information?
The eyes need the blue blocker glasses to watch the internet now, and the stuff I see in the sky, 100% more than whatever the government tells me. I got some pretty fancy binoculars, Mike. You can't catch it with the phone. It looks like a bunch of squiggle.
Yeah, they're out there.
Nothing.
They're out there. That's why a lot of people listen to the show, because they've seen these things. They've seen some of these compelling things that are out there in the sky. And like I said, I don't deny they exist. They're out there for sure. Game Vet 02, truck driver up there in Minnesota. He shares videos all the time that he catches on the road from his dash cam that are compelling UFO videos. I mean, they're out there.
Not a satellite, not a plane, not Iron Man, not Superman.
Exactly.
Not what is that thing?
Yeah. That's exactly right. I'm just saying they're out there, but I just don't think we're going to be told, because you can't. It's a national security issue. You just can't. Anyway, all right. So hang tight, Jay. We'll come back and get you after the top of the hour. I'm going to just keep you in here and mute you, if that's cool.
That's fine, Mike.
All right, cool. Come back to get you in a little bit. Let's keep on trucking. So, no, I promised during the break that I'd get to a new treaty. Now, check this out. Oops, not that one. Where is it? All right. So this is by, let's see, where is this thing? Here it is. This is from the Daily Mail. Check this out. This is nuts. All right. Now, now it's the Daily Mail, so nobody get any weird ideas. But it's the Daily Mail. So I'm going to link this, and you guys can check out the source. As always, I appreciate you following up on the sources. But the headline reads this. Harvard physicist suggests Earth needs treaties with extraterrestrial civilizations to avoid a cosmic catastrophe. Yep, that's what it says, right there, in internet black and white. There it is. I'm linking it, and you guys can check it out yourself. But holy smokes, right? Harvard physicist Avi Loeb warns alien civilizations could have the ability to make machines capable of destroying Earth. Loeb uses the example of a particle accelerator that could create dark energy explosion, a dark energy explosion that would destroy everything in its path. In order to keep the peace in space, Avi Loeb suggests interstellar treaties. The treaty would follow the same laws as the 1963 nuclear test ban treaty. This banned countries from testing nuclear weapons on Earth and in space. Yeah. See, Tim? Exactly. Tim's laughing in there in chat. It's true. Like, okay, so not only now we're in this alien hoopla, right? I kind of agree with you. Is that at some point it does seem like they're making fun of us, right? It seems like some people take this a little more seriously. That there may be something to this that's legitimate and worth talking about. We get made fun of. But this is the Daily Mail in any case. But I went and checked it out. I was like, no, this is not real, is it? But then you click the link. Here's the Scientific American. This is an article written by Avi Loeb. This is May 23rd of 2021. This is brand spanking new, as many of the things that I present to you on this show are. I'll try and keep everything as current as possible. But check this out. Here we go. This is where this came from. This is actually written by Avi Loeb of Oumuamua fame, right? Oops. There we go. Linked back in. Okay. Now, this is what he said, right? How much time do we got? Cool. Just enough. All right. So he says this. Imagine an advanced civilization somewhere in the universe which developed a particle accelerator that collides electrons at the Planck energy, the scale where gravity must be described quantum mechanically. This energy scale is no small feat for a collider, as it corresponds to 10 quintillion times the mass of the proton. To reach this energy with our existing acceleration technology would require a linear collider 10,000 light years in length. All right? How ridiculous is that? 10,000 light years in length. But clearly, if an alien civilization had this in some other way, listen to this. But various concepts of laser plasma accelerators, on which I worked during my PhD, again, this is written by Avi Loeb, not me, can possibly shorten the required acceleration distance by a factor of 10,000, shrinking the size of such a collider to the size of the Oort cloud that surrounds the solar system. And so, one could optimistically imagine that a highly advanced civilization could generate electron collisions at Planck energies within its home planetary system. All right, now check this out. It gets better. As it turns out, the hypothetical feasibility of such an experiment is a reason for concern to all civilizations in the universe. He says, let me explain. Based on the accelerating expansion of the universe, we know that the vacuum is not empty but has some dark energy density. Collisions of particles of the Planck energy can trigger a local tunneling of the vacuum to a lower energy state. All right, in any case, this is what he's talking about. Triggering vacuum decay in a sufficiently large bubble at the collider location would produce an expanding burning front, a so-called domain wall, behind which the vacuum energy density will be converted into heat just as a detonation wave burns through an explosive material. This spherical burning front will move outward at the speed of light and release an unprecedented amount of energy into space, heating everything along its path. If all the dark energy is converted to heat, it would bring an unlimited volume swept up by the burning front to a temperature of 30 degrees above absolute zero, 10 times hotter and 10,000 times denser in energy than the radiation of the cosmic microwave background left over from the Big Bang. Now, right? This is not the first time we've heard this about, there's some conspiracy theories with CERN and the runaway, what was it called? Some sort of decay. I can't remember. But basically, right, that if you tear open the fabric of space-time, you create some sort of runaway effect like this, and you could destroy the Earth, right? And some people have speculated, Nick Hinton, for one, has speculated that it happened in 2012, at the end of the Mayan calendar, and that's why all the timeline seems weird and all this stuff. Anyway, I digress. But now Avi Loeb is saying if the aliens, I'll repeat myself, actually have some sort of particle collider that could destroy an entire solar system in the blink of an eye, that we need to have some sort of space treaty with these aliens, right? I mean, I don't know. What's going on with this? Interestingly, like I said, somebody mentioned a space treaty with aliens and the Eisenhower thing and all that. So, well, Avi Loeb is calling for it again. And so, basically, an interstellar treaty with other advanced civilizations could stave off death by domain wall. Yeah. And so, right, like you think, yeah, you can't even make this stuff up, Mike. Fact is stranger than fiction. And Avi Loeb, God bless him, he's kind of pushing the envelope there for like a Harvard astrobiologist or astronomer or whatever his official title is now. But he's well respected in his field, and so he's talking about treaties with outer space aliens so that we don't get accidentally destroyed by their technology. Now. What in the world? Lucy Bell says this. Avi Loeb has really gone out on a limb and risked his professional reputation to think outside the box and support the UAP perspective. He is not making fun of anyone. I agree 100%. I think that Like he's definitely doing his thing. He's like I said, he's well respected, and he's putting it out there that it's kind of removing the stigma to talk about these things. However, I think maybe putting the premise that we need to make a treaty with aliens in some capacity without really naming said aliens, I think is, a little, I don't know. I'll let you decide. But anyway, you see, like there's a lot. I agree. I'm an Avi Loeb fan. I followed all his Oumuamua stuff and all the rest of that, and I thought it was really good. And he had some guts to really step up and make some determinations there that people weren't willing to say. So I'm good with that. But anyway, so as we finish this is the end of the show. We're finishing up on Fringe FM, but we have one more hour on actually on DLive, YouTube, and Facebook. We're going to keep on trucking for one more hour. The Fringe FM is currently down. Otherwise, I know that Joe Roop is in process of moving from Joe Roop of Lighting the Void, also the owner of Fringe FM. He's in process of moving from New York State to Arizona, and so sometime this week things should be back to normal and even better than ever. So hang tight, it's coming. I don't know. I do know my little gizmo works to get on the network, so I'll keep broadcasting on my days as I can. I don't know what's going on with everything else. It seems to be some tech issues, but anyway. So I don't think you get Joe Roop Lighting the Void next. But in any case, I'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. to do more of this. We'll have Ash the Reptilian from Mars as the co-host, and we'll be talking about more of this type of stuff because I think it needs to be talked about. I think that we need to be one, critical about it, skeptical about it, but also willing to accept that some of these things out here are real, and it's compelling and worth talking about, and that's why we do it. So anyway, as we finish this up, let's see where we at time wise. Make sure we're good on the radio clock. Let's smash the final button, and there we go. So at the end of it, like I said, I'm just telling you what I think, and I'm just one dude. All right, you make up your mind about this. Do you trust what's coming out of the government? Do you trust the press? Do you trust, there's Lou Elizondo, and there's really brave people that are stepping up and trying to get the information out there, and I understand that. I just don't think the entire press corps and the government is playing fairly with them, let's say, with folks like that. So anyway, just throwing it out there. Once again, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and we talk about all the weird stuff. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll be back tomorrow on the Fringe FM, and of course doing our thing on DLive, YouTube, and of course Facebook. Thanks again, guys, for hanging out. Thanks for putting up with me. I know that sometimes I'm a pain in the ass, but hey, I'm human. It's part of being human, right? So this is the deal. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thanks again for hanging out. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 7. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. Once again, I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are talking about UFOs, and not just UFOs, the phenomenon, of course. We're talking about the way the government has kind of been treating this, the press blitz, how the media has kind of gone nutters with UFOs the last couple weeks here. What is going on with this camera? Focus. Anyway, so we're still taking your phone calls if you want to be part of this conversation. Like I said, I'm not right here. There's so many people in ufology, in kind of into the topic. I'm not a ufologist. I'm not a researcher. I'm not a journalist. I'm just having a conversation. All right. Like I'm never going to claim to be any of those things because I'm not any of those things. All right. Like, so, these people take this stuff so seriously and they're so stuck up about a lot of this stuff. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like it's fine. Like let's have a conversation. Let's hear what people of the world think. And I think it's just it just kind of opens up an entirely new aspect of this because some people are I don't know, whatever. Soapbox mode off. Let's go to Robert on the phone. What's up, Robert? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Doing pretty well, man. Thank you. What do you think about this stuff tonight?
I'm hearing myself back on this phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's put our critical thinking caps on here. This is so easy. All right, back in the 40s into the mid 50s, whenever there was something up there in the air that the military didn't know what it was, they either try to shoot it down or they send our military aircraft in pursuit. All right? And matter of fact, they probably have managed to shoot a few down back in those days. It's been decades since they've done that. They haven't pursued them. They haven't tried to shoot them down. That's your answer right there. Look at Israel, all right, what's been going on in the last few weeks. All right, they have the Iron Dome. Hamas sends missiles over. Israel has the Iron Dome and just decimates them. All right, they don't use the Iron Dome, and there's tons of UFOs. Reports of UFOs over the years hovering and flying above Jerusalem. They don't do nothing about it. All right, same with Russia, and it's because these military powers know what they are. That's why they don't. I'm hearing myself talk.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening. We hear you fine. So I'm trying not to cut you off so you can just continue, because I know it's hard to deal with the talk back there. Okay, so I'm with you. I agree. It's that, like I said, it goes back to what I was discussing earlier, is that they know what's going on, right? For the most part. Like the governments of the world, they know. There's probably very little mystery here once the information comes out, and they let us in on it. But they're not gonna, because they can't, right? I mean, just think about the implication. Go ahead.
And that's what will happen in June. This is how you'll know whether or not you're getting the straight scoop, or even just anything that's straight at all, is if they conclude in their report that they're real, but they don't know what they are. If they say they don't know what they are in that report, then they're lying. So you know that the whole report is not credible if they're going to tell that one lie.
Exactly. And that's kind of my point. Like I said, if it was a good faith effort, they have a ton of data going back to Project Blue Book and probably before and after that. They have some data they can show us. So if they release this report, it's heavily redacted, and they say sources and methods and national security and all the rest of that, then it's going to be a frustrating big tease is what it's going to be, right? And so we're going to learn nothing. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I want to be wrong about this. Trust me, more than anybody, I want to be wrong about this. I'm just a realist in knowing how the government works and how they put this information out. And nothing has changed. Like, people want to think that things have changed and that the government will suddenly be like, oh, it's the age of Aquarius. We're going to tell the world about UFOs. Get real. I mean, come on.
And remember what the common message they were putting across, not so long ago, and they still probably say it, is that they've seen them, they know they're there, but they're no threat. They know they're not a threat. So if they're not a threat, what are they? They know what they are. So they're not a threat to come and conquer the earth. They've got some deal going on with these people. And I say people instead of aliens. They got a deal going on with these people that goes way back. And I have no doubt that this legend of Eisenhower and being brought into a secret meeting when he's supposed to put out an excuse he had some kind of flu or something.
The dentist.
I have no doubt that happened. That he went to that, I forget the name of the base, went to that base and got briefed on it all. All right? I think he's the last president that ever got a full briefing on anything, and they probably did not hesitate with him because of his reputation. He was a military general himself. So that's where it comes from. And I follow his granddaughter a little bit. I think she's a little bit off the wall sometimes. But she insisted that happened. She believes it happened, and I think it did. So the question then becomes, if the military knows what they are, all right, and they know that they're not a threat, you can give those two things a high five because that's probably true. then what are they doing with them?
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
They have to be having conversations with these people, and they have to have some arrangement already.
It seems likely.
And go ahead.
It seems likely. I'm going to read this quote again from Senator Harry Reid. It's up on the screen. Senator Harry Reid said today in an interview, he said this: "All the information I have, which is quite a bit, I think there has been no indication whatsoever that they are harmful." And of course, he's talking about UFOs.
Mm-hmm. They're not our stuff. They're not Russia's stuff. Not China's stuff. All right. Whether or not they're from some other universe, is, I kind of question that to some degree. They've been. We know from the literature, been around for thousands of years. So they don't have to suddenly be coming in from outer space. They've been around. They probably have something. They probably have some base on the moon. Matter of fact, I remember hearing some kind of legend that never went back to the moon. It's because the extraterrestrials told us to get the hell out and don't come back.
I've heard that as well.
Because they had, yeah. And it makes as much sense as anything else, because it makes no sense that we didn't go back. We went, 69, 50 years? More than 50 years. And we haven't gone back since 1972 or 3 or something like that. That makes no sense. You put billions and billions and billions of dollars over a course of a couple of decades into getting to the moon. And then once you get there, you make a couple more flights, and then it's all over. That'd be like Columbus getting the money from Queen Elizabeth, finding America. Well, we found that, going back, and nobody bothers with it after that. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
Exactly. Well, now we found it. Let's go home. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go home. And what about, and Mars is another thing. All right. I think that's all a diversion. I don't really think we have any intention of going to Mars. I don't see any purpose for it, unless they find the kind of minerals that makes good chips for Elton Musk cars.
Right, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, they'd have to know that there's a whole lot of rich minerals there. What they're going to do is they're going to start to mine asteroids. That's where the money's at. All right, they're going to figure a way to loop them around and bring them close and mine them and all that sort of stuff. And God bless them. I hope they do, because if they're mining the asteroids in outer space, then they're not mining them down here and polluting the planet. I got off on a different course there, because I really just called to say, there's no question the governments, not one government, all governments, the hierarchy, the ones that control, the ones that are in the background, they know what they are. They know that they're not a threat. So they're getting technology from them, and they're giving them something back for it. Whatever it is, I have no idea, but there's some kind of treaty already with them. There has to be, because we don't even try to kill them.
Yeah, you would expect there to be the interstellar war already, right? I mean, like Tom DeLonge has said that we shot him down on accident with nukes when we were testing in the Bikini Islands there, and that the nukes went up in the sky and kind of just brought him down willy nilly, and that's supposedly from that angle of the information why we were able to shoot them down, and we were blowing up these nukes, and clearly there's some kind of disruption that happens that just takes them out of the sky. I don't know, like I said, kind of a.
Have you seen the evolution? Have you noticed the evolution of these UFOs? All right, in the 40s, 50s, they were all discs. All right, and over a course of several decades, just like we change our stuff and improve our stuff and change the styles of our car, now these UFOs are mostly triangular.
Yeah, interesting. You got a good point. They were discs, then they were cigar-shaped, and now we see a lot of triangles. Yeah, that's a good point, man.
And maybe that's because they're older ships, the discs, were vulnerable to radar interference, that type of thing, and they had to redo them to ward off any kind of interference that could make them drop from the sky.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think there's a lot here that really is kind of flies in the face of logic, I guess you could say. Based on
And notice the similarities. Here you got now these UFOs that are triangular at the very same time that our B-52 bombers and stuff are triangular too.
That's true. Our stealth fighters and all the rest of that, very triangular. You're right. You're right, man. You're spot on.
It's the similarities. I think the only thing that gives me pause when I say that they're not going to give us any trouble and the United States has a treaty with them and they know what they are, is if that's all true, and I believe it is, then why is the military drumming up some sort of, we've got to prepare for an alien invasion? Why are they doing that? It's all good between them. Why is the military-industrial complex gearing up for the next big thing is an alien invasion? If we already have a treaty with them, if they know what they are and they know they're not a threat, why are they doing that?
That's a good question.
Because it's a contradiction. So you look at that contradiction and you try to figure it out. All right? I haven't. But I'll bet there's a lot of smart people listening to your show tonight who might be able to come up with that answer.
I agree. That's why we've always done it this way and taken phone calls. And like I said, I've learned way more from just people calling in and talking than I have from any website on the internet. So that's why we do it, man.
I'm going to get off the phone and maybe one of them will call in and give us the answer.
Okay. So one more question before you take off. So what do you think we're going to see in this report in June? Let's say it comes out on time, June 25th. We'll just assume that. What do you think will be in that report?
One thing we're not going to see is that when Clinton was president and he ordered that investigation of what happened in Nevada, what was it? And they said it was a mission where they had these dummies that were being dropped from high levels. That was bull. It's not going to be bull. It's going to be truthful, but it's going to be craftily truthful. All right? They're going to put out some truth and one big lie. And that big lie is going to be, we don't know what they are.
I'm with you. I agree. They're going to try and fool us, and they're going to tell us one thing, and they know something else, and that's what I expect to hear. I appreciate the call, my friend. Robert from Facebook, you're the best. Thanks for listening, man. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Have a good night. There you go. Simple as that, guys. You want to be part of the show? Thank you. Great call, Robert. 702-957-1037. What do you guys think? What do we expect from this actual whatever's going to happen here with this 6-month UFO report? Like I said, let's go back to Harry Reid. Interestingly, he said, and this is kind of got me right. He was the Senate Majority Leader for some time. He was in the Senate for, 30 or 40 years? He was a lifetime politician, right, at the highest levels of government. When he says this today on a podcast, quote, all the information I have, which is quite a bit, I think there has been no indication whatsoever that they are harmful. Okay, all right, cool, right? So what the hell does that mean? So what do they know? There have been reports, actually, of aircraft being taken down by these things. Whether that was like an accident of people trying to do whatever it is that they do, fine. But like maneuvering and trying to get close to it and maybe crashing as an accident, fine. But I mean, I think that what was that on the season 1 of Unidentified, right? The helicopter and it shoot the ray. You guys remember that? So that whole bit, the Italian helicopter thing. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. There's so many contradictory stories here that just don't seem to make sense. What about the ones in Brazil? What about the Brazil UFO flap that happened, and they were burning people with radiation sickness, right? They were actually, their hair was falling out because these UFOs were flying around and giving them actual like attacking them, basically. Like they cleared out the women and children from the little island that was being attacked in Brazil, and because they didn't want any more damage, and the men stayed to try and fight these things off back in Brazil in the 70s. So, I mean, right, like it's one thing to say, well, no indication they're harmful, but it depends on who you ask, doesn't it? There's some people that claim to have been abducted and that the entire thing has been a harmful experience, right? So, again, like I said, it's not that, you know, sure, Harry Reid, whatever, politics is sour and garbage and all the other stuff, but, you know, it's kind of a statement that's, it seems to fall flat based on who you ask, right? So anyway, let's go to, we're still doing this. If you guys want to be part of the show, still talking about what's happening now with the government response to all of the media coverage of UFOs and the X-Files, basically, right? Do we have Mulder and Scully on the case with the UAP task force? And they're basically, think about it this way, right? So this was kind of the premise tonight. Is think about the X-Files. You have Mulder and Scully on the case, and they're out there, knocking on doors and, tracking down leads and finding paranormal and aliens and all kinds of weird shit, right? Like, that's what happened in the X-Files. Great show. But now we have the UAP task force that supposedly has been, quote, tasked, the task force, to compile information regarding UFOs. All right. And not only are they supposedly working on this, they're also trying to, or they're also coming up to opposition from inside the government, right? I'm going to go back to that article just to make sure you see that I'm not making shit up. Right here from Politico. Military and spy agencies accused of stiff-arming investigators on UFO sightings. So just like Mulder and Scully in the X-Files had trouble with their superiors and people higher up in the government than them, this is exactly the same thing, is it not? We've got the UAP task force supposedly researching UFOs, and we have the DOD, the Air Force, other entities inside the government that won't give them information. Curious, no? Odd how, I guess, truth is stranger than fiction. Or in this case, truth is fiction? The other way around, fiction is truth. I don't know. Anyway, weird, right? It's weird. It's a weird world we live in. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
What's going on, man?
Man, trying to make sense of the world, and none of it makes sense. What do you think about all this stuff?
Just listening to you guys' conversation tonight.
Right on.
And I just wanted to call in to agree with Robert there that, if you look at the whole situation kind of like that, look at the whole bigger picture, he is correct that these governments do know, right? And what these things are, who they are, right? And the reason why I say this is because one evidence that you can is, I don't know if other people, I put it to Discord and also some images. It's called a vector, or what they call, a chevron. Everybody uses it. Everybody's space agency. Every country that's got a space agency uses the same vector or the same chevron. It's a shape like we call them a chevron in the military. It's the same, the same, almost like the same shape of like our grade, so like our rank. It's an upside down chevron, an upside down V. But if you look at everybody's insignia, why would they all have? It's kind of like like the Star Trek, maybe kind of not the triangle so much, but like a vector, like a V, upside down V. And what's interesting is, why would they all choose that? Why would they all, all of them? If they got their own little design, but it's the exact same thing. I also sent some videos. Someone did a video on it. I did some stills on it where it shows the, example. Someone took a picture. It was a picture of an astronaut. Someone took a picture of another astronaut, but they did a close up of his shield, his face shield, and you could see the vector. It was it looks like a ship, obviously, but it's got the same shape. So it's interesting to me that why wouldn't you be shooting these things down? If they're over invading your airspace, right? Everybody, anytime anything else happened like that, they want to shoot shit down. Whether it be passenger airplanes, helicopters, drones, it don't matter. They don't like that shit. But yeah, these things seem to be just flying around like, doop-de-doo, like, in and out of waters, doing whatever they want. Yeah, number one is they can. What are you going to do?
Yeah, well, exactly. You can't stop them. I mean, that's part of the problem here. And so what Robert was saying is true. Like, he wasn't saying that we should shoot them down if they're not a threat. He was saying that if the countries at large considered them to be a threat, they'd be shooting them down like crazy. It would be like War of the Worlds, right? And so they don't consider them a threat. Is kind of what his point was there. It's because they already know what they are. I've got the Space Force website up, by the way, and what do you know? It's got the chevron. It looks very much like the Star Trek logo. It's got the triangle, the 4 stars, the whole bit. So yeah, kind of to corroborate what you're saying here. But yeah, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, that's what I was. I wasn't disagreeing with them. I'm just saying that not to shoot them down either. But, if they didn't know, like I said, if they didn't know what these things were, they would be shooting these things down. Especially the closer that you're coming to the landmass, coming into the ground, over the ground, that shit would not happen. That's why we have military bases all around, like helicopters and F-18, F-16, whatever have you, Harriers. We got aircraft all the time up there. So it's not like, if this thing is coming in, it doesn't matter. You should be, they send aircraft up to take these things down. Now, what he was saying was that, yes, that's why they're not shooting them down, because they know what they are. And I believe that, it's the thing, and the reason, it's either that or each government's got their own style of UFO and they're flying in and out of these airspaces, and the public are looking at these aircraft and taking pictures of them because obviously we don't know what they are. The governments are probably hiding these things, hiding the fact. And that is one, like the other listener that was listening, that you talked about, her comment was that, what was it? I lost train of thought. Hold on.
What do you expect from disclosure?
What was it?
What do you expect from disclosure? Was that the question?
What was it again?
What do you expect from disclosure? Is that what she asked? That's the one that sticks in my mind. It was a great question.
That was another one, but yeah, I like that question too. And for me, we already know about, like how I say, what I want to expect for disclosure, and it's not even have to be, it don't even have to be government for me, because if you like, I'm talking like, if somebody, if they were wanting to take over this planet, it would be like Independence Day. Like, they ain't gonna give a fuck. They're coming in and they're here, above your, cities and your massive cities. Because that's where the places you're going to be, because that's where most populated. If you want to take out most of the all population on Earth, that would be it. Because, the whole story, too, you hear that, the people want you to believe that this planet is overpopulated, which it isn't. The cities are overpopulated. But the landmass compared to human, it's not even close. I mean, you can go through Wyoming, for example, and you drive through that shit for fucking goddamn hours, and you ain't seen shit.
You never see a person. Same thing with Oregon. Yeah, Oregon, nothing but trees up there, right? A few cities here and there, but it's nothing but trees and Bigfoot. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, if that's going to be one way for disclosure, if they're going to do some shit like that, or the government's going to tell you, but one of that's like almost like a movie. If they would just like Biden jump on and say, "Hey, listen, all right, I got to tell you something. We've made a treaty with these people. Their planet got destroyed or whatnot, or some story. You know what I mean? Because that's one in the ufology that's some of the stuff that I researched too as well, is that, like, you hear different stories, but one of the stories is what, the whole thing with Eisenhower is that it was all their civilization was on one spacecraft, or like a couple of spacecraft. And they came here and they were asking like, that was the story, like, their world was destroyed and they needed a home planet, and our planet was inhabitable to them as well. But they were like living in underground or in tunnel systems or even in the water. I don't know. But that was the story I ran across too, was, that somebody was like a whistleblower, somebody wanted to say that. But yeah, that was a story that I ran across, is that, that's the people. And so, for them to help, for us to allow them here, with, these other countries, is that, technology, of course, the exchange of technology. You want to have something, I don't know. But like for me, when they're saying that they're no threat, I beg to differ as well, because if you look at even like the missing people worldwide every year that just like totally vanish, you know what I mean? That shit doesn't happen either. People just don't disappear, but it's happening. And it's weird that it's happening in like forest, national forests around, in the United States. You hear people just, and they're just not like people just hiking through their forest. They're like avid hunters, you know what I mean? They're with weapons and shit. Next, there's nothing that's left. They're just gone. And some people that, like, that's the only thing they're left was their camp, and that was it.
Yeah, you're talking about the missing 411 stuff, right? People just disappearing, which again is still without explanation. You don't want to say Bigfoot, you don't want to say aliens, but people just kind of vanishing is suspicious, especially in national parks. Happens in Alaska a lot. They say people go up to Alaska to die, high suicide rate, all kinds of things. But people also disappear up there under mysterious circumstances. There are places, man, you're right. People don't just disappear. Something happens to them.
So for me to say that, and if you want to use the whole, theory too that most people use, is like, there's good in everything, so it'd be the same thing with alien species, if they're good or not. So, it's the same thing too. You would have to agree with, I guess you would have to agree to that. But hopefully you would think that if you're being space-bound creatures, that, you have at least, I guess, advanced mentally, and, you're capable, to know, like, hey, you don't want to destroy life, but fuck, who knows, man? That would be a whole, that's trying to get to know some, their mind and the way they're thinking, you know what I mean? Is it like you have examples like on Star Wars or Star Trek. Star Trek has more examples like that, Are they more of a breeding type, or like a Borg that just takes over everything? Because that's where you hear stories too, like the reptilian race. There's stories of the reptilian race, is they're one of the most ancient races in the universes. That's why they have been, populated throughout the planetary systems, and where they live at is underground caverns. That's where they're mostly, underground, I guess. But yeah, from some of the stories that you hear through, some of those rabbit holes, I guess you could say. But yeah, that you hear that they're, it's not only them, but it's the draconian race. They're the ones that are, I guess their hierarchy, I guess you would say. They're bigger, stronger, like lizard people, I guess.
The reptilians, yeah.
And, you have the ones from here on Earth. People talk about the Pleiadians, or Andromedans, or even Valiant Thor, right? Valiant Thor. If you hear, stories like that, like Valiant Thor, he was here to try to help the people, our government.
Yeah, it is interesting that a lot of times you hear people that have, describe that they've had contact with entities like this, extraterrestrials or whatnot. And many times they don't seem to be malevolent at all. They seem like they want to help humanity in some capacity. So, again, like who knows if these stories are accurate or true, or who the hell knows what's up. But it just depends on who you ask. Again, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what to believe, because it seems like all these stories, they're different. They say different things. You can pick and choose and kind of, draw up your own narrative. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think regarding all that. And yeah. I think Kelly just dropped off, but I think that's the thing, right? Kelly, call back. We'll put you on. So Kelly called, and yeah, phone dumped. Let's see, make sure it's not me. I think we're okay. It looks like everything should still be up. So Kelly disconnected. So anyway, give me a call back, Kelly, and we'll put you on the show. But anyway, you guys get the point, right? So it's like you kind of don't know what to believe, because half the stuff seems to be fake, half the stuff seems to be real, and I don't know. I have no idea. That's part of why we talk about this stuff, and and why I'm super suspicious, just about many things, especially coming from the government. Like Robert said, people have suggested that the government knows what these things are. Like I've said, if disclosure to me looks like, show us more data. Like, show us pictures of the things that you don't know what the hell they are, Like, you got to throw us a bone. And just saying you're going to throw us a bone is not throwing us a bone. You understand? Like, there's a huge difference there. And so when they release this report, whatever's coming out, like I said, I hope I'm wrong. Really, I mean that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that eventually they put this information out and it changes the paradigm of life on Earth, of what it means to be a human being. I hope that's possible. I hope that somebody out there has an actual good faith effort to make this happen. And I know that many people have, like, for instance, like Avi Loeb, like he's sticking his neck out there. I know Lou Elizondo, he's sticking his neck out there. There's some people that are doing these things. So it's not, again, don't get me wrong. I'm not crapping on the entire institution of, the disclosure movement or whatever it's going to be called. But I am saying that, the government and the media get involved. Suddenly things don't look so fantastic, do they? All right, let's go back to Kelly real quick and let him finish up. We got a couple more calls. Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry about that. You disconnected. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, you guys dropped me. It's not a big deal, man. But anyway, the only thing I always just wanted to add to some of the things that that's happening within the atmosphere, like UFOs. Maybe they're ours, There's actually talk. There's one thing it's a new interview with Corey Good and this other fellow. I didn't really get his name, but he was on. He did an interview with Third Phase of Moon. But the information there is coming out from there, which is actually interesting, was because the other guy was pure science. He's giving you what the government knows that, which actually should be talked about anyway. I kind of posted it on Discord, but what's happening with the sun, and then this is like kind of what I was bringing up the other night was, the atmosphere, situations going on the planet, and how I'm feeling, like I've said before, that there's something tugging on the planet. How it's, or, that, like the Inuit Eskimos are even talking about how there's a polar shift going on. But they're believing, too, that the whole Earth is going to tilt. And that every government are actually building, all these underground facilities, underground, or even have the secret space force that they're going on. And that's the reason why they're actually introducing this space force, is because they're actually want to bring out that we have aircraft, or these aircraft that we have, even like these long distance, are, I guess, interstellar spacecraft that we have. But the interesting part is what they're calling, because the sun is known to have what they call a mini nova. What it actually kind of is like the sun burps. It releases the pressure that it's always building up, because it's all pure energy, right? So when it releases, like what they're finding evidence of that happening was on Mars. That leaves burn marks across the surface of it. And actually here some of those pictures I posted in Discord was Robert, his name, Robert, he does all those elongated skulls down in Peru, but he also does, what's interesting, he's been to a lot of these ancient places, and a lot of these ancient places have like one in, a lot of it was in Egypt, but he also had some in Peru where it looks like a burn mark, and like it's vitrified, where it's like, it looks like glass or like black glass, and it's across the wall, and it looks like almost kind of like it would be from a sun flare or something like that hit in the earth. Or the ones in Egypt, I mean, it looks like it's really melted, it's going across the Ramses the second statue, and it looks like it just took on some massive heat. And if you look at it, he did all the science for, some of that stuff would happen to have to be 2,000 degrees or over 2,000 degrees to start even melting that shit. So it's either one or two things where you could say that it was, you hear like the Sumerian stories of the Anunnaki where they were fighting wars, they unleashed the weapons of terror, or it could be what they're talking about, this burp from the sun, and if that happens, that's going to wipe out millions of people on this planet.
Yeah.
Unless you were, had a special ticket, to get down into these underground bunkers that these governments have been doing, So that's what's interesting to me because that is more leading to all the research I've been doing with, all the planets warming up and what's going on with the sun,
Yeah, I did see the pictures you shared in the Discord. If you guys want to know what he's talking about, some more information, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link. This is Kelly. He shares all kinds of good information in there. He's got some photographs describing what is actually a Carrington event. That's what they're called. These solar flares hitting the Earth. And again, it happened in like the 1800s, and it started fires. It actually started fires. That was before we had satellites and GPS and all this stuff. So if that happens now, you're right. Just from a technology perspective, even if it doesn't start fires, there's going to be a lot of people dead just because of how we rely on technology now. Hey Kelly, we got a couple calls behind you, so we got to run. So final thought while we got you on the phone.
Oh no, man, that was it. I just wanted to kind of agree with that and show those again, like those pictures I showed of the vectors and stuff. Kind of talk about about that stuff too. But other than that, man, you guys have a good night. Just want to add some my point of view there.
I appreciate it, man. Kelly from Colorado, old time friend of the show. God bless you and the family. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
All right, brother.
Thanks, bro. Talk to you soon. There we go. All right, let's go to Beechwood in Massachusetts. What's up, Beechwood? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
What's up, Agent Beechwood? Above every three-letter organization that exists. I'm above all of them.
Agent Beechwood.
I'm investigating.
Engage.
But
what's up, buddy?
Engage with the disclosure stuff. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but one thing I know that if I'm the government, if you put yourself in the government shoes, I'm cheating to win. I don't care. That's the way it is. Ethics aren't real. So who cares? They're going to cheat to win. Why wouldn't you? So I would just lie about it. If I didn't know what it was, I would still lie about it. That's how you maintain power. So that's probably what the government's going to do. Do they know what they are? Probably. They could be ours,
Exactly.
could be extraterrestrial.
Probably.
But either way, you got to lie. You got to cheat to win. It's the name of the game when it comes to that. And what I think it's going to lead to is somehow is just more rules. I was thinking about that a lot today. Like, how many rules do you follow every day? Just simple rules. Some of them aren't a big deal, but there's just rules. People are so conditioned to rules. And I think it's just a step. I think it's also somewhat of like a research project. Put it out there mainstream for a while. Don't really give them information, but see what they want to hear, and then, put it together. But as far as what you're going to get from the mainstream, I don't think it's going to be anything good. I think they're going to try to sell it more than anything. And then also, if I was at the top of the food chain, I would consider myself just a creature trying to survive. I would have somebody else do all the hard work and build me technology to find another planet like this. If it was inhabited, I would just say, fuck them and kill all them and take their planet. And that would be that.
Beechwood for president. Agent Beechwood, you've been promoted to President Beechwood. Kill them all. Boy.
Eventually, that's what would happen. But because people are comfortable, but when people get uncomfortable, they change. They have a primal instinct. And, when you think about the long game, eventually, I guess, the planet will die one day. We'll have to leave. People won't care about anything except getting off the planet. But I try not to think that far ahead. But, I don't know. But it is, I think it's cool. Like months ago on the show, a few people predicted like there was going to be like a blow up in the mainstream media. And then the question was where it was going to go from there. And I'm really not sure, but I don't know. I stay open-minded. And I think what this show is about with the disclosure in particular, I think it's going to be fabricated just because that seems to be the trend. But other than that, that's it. That's just my take on it.
Okay. I appreciate it, my man. That's Beechwood from Massachusetts. Good shit as always. Hang in there, Agent Beechwood. One day you will be President Beechwood. You'll see. Thanks, bro. I appreciate the call.
I know. That makes all right, man.
I appreciate the call.
Talk to you later.
Thanks a lot, man. There you go. What's up, Louis to Origami? I see you on D Live. Is this a podcast? Hell yes, this is a podcast. This is the podcast. We're talking about aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, and that's what we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. All right, Revenant Bear, I see you on D Live also. Let's go to Robert. What's up, Robert? Robert's got a new take on this. What's up, Robert? Welcome back. What's up, buddy?
I must be getting pretty relaxed about call again. This now I'm calling it the second time.
It's fine,
but I went
man.
out on my porch.
It's all good. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Wait. How's the weather? How's the weather? Is it beautiful out there?
Yeah, we had some good rain yesterday. No rain today, but we're supposed to get some good storms tomorrow. The weather has been pretty much like summer. Today was a cooler day, but we're going back to summer heat.
Nice.
We're in Pennsylvania here, so we have a beautiful state here. You should come here.
I've been there.
I would not want to live any other state than Pennsylvania. But I went out to my porch, and I had to have a smoke. I might be Cancer Man from X-Ray from the X-Files.
You're that guy.
But yeah, but it occurred to me maybe it occurred to me what may be the answer to all this. All right, and you put it in what's going on in present times, and you project it into the future. And one of the things that doesn't get a lot of press, but it gets some, because there's some real concern among all the governments, is that males are becoming sterile. They're not being able to reproduce like they used to be. We used to be able to reproduce. That's been ongoing, and they're concerned about it, and they don't know why. All right? And yet you have these, I'm going to call these aliens people because I want to be politically correct.
Perfect.
Right? You have these people coming in spaceships, and if there's if there's this problem with sterility, all right, it projected in the future, that means that our descendants are going to have a real problem, especially if they want children. They can't. So what they do is they come back through time. All right, they got to deal with our government. The government allows them to take people up on board their ships, and mostly, if you notice, what they do is they're doing reproductive experiments. And I think they might be making babies with human females and taking sperm from what sperm still exists for males, and they're making children for themselves that they take back into the future that they raise as their own because they can't make babies of their own.
In the future, that's a hell of a take,
man. Is that wild?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Is that
So
wild?
so the aliens are us from the future, come back to harvest what sperm is left that's still viable, and taking it back to the future to ensure the future of humanity through time travel. I like it, man. I like it.
These hybrid babies. You hear some stories about like women being brought back up on a spaceship just to get a nice little glimpse of the baby that they gave, that they reproduced. They erased their memory or something. But yeah, if I was, I'll put myself in their shoes. If I was like living hundreds of years from now, all right, and neither and my wife or my and I could not have children, all right, but we had this ability to go in time. Yeah, because you can't go to an adoption agency hundreds of years from now because there's no children being born. So you go back in time, you do your biologicals, and you make your own children. It just makes sense to me. I can see that being the case, and that might be why the United States government has to deal with it, to let them abduct people.
So the current administrations of the world have made a deal with humans of the future, knowing that if they don't make that deal, the future of humanity is doomed. I like it, bro. You should be a writer.
Correct.
You should write a book about that.
I am.
I know. I know you are. Everybody pick up Robert's book. I got it right here. Where is it? He doesn't call to plug it, but I'm going to plug it. Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection. Check it out on Amazon. The link is always in our after the show.
Somebody must be buying it because I saw more. I just got a nice little check from Amazon.
Nice.
KPD.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Yeah.
So
check it out.
I appreciate the plug.
Check it out, guys. I appreciate the call. I appreciate all the great takes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being enthusiastic about the show. Let me know if you get any cicadas out there. They're about to take over the state.
Oh, they're
right?
out there now. They're out there now. You can step on my porch and it's like a racket, like nothing else. The birds are going crazy. They love the stuff. They're eating them up like candy.
Nice.
They're absolutely harmless. Nobody kill them. That walks and that's got fur and had wings eats them.
Robert, but they're icky. They're icky, bro.
But we're not eating them. Although they're trying to. I saw a few shows on news where they're trying to turn them into some kind of gourmet dish or something for human beings. But the birds, all the animals and the birds eat them. There isn't an animal or a bird that doesn't eat those things. They love them.
Nice.
That's why they reproduce in such great quantities. It's evolution, because by the time they're done in 2 weeks, billions of them have already been consumed by the animals and the birds, and that's why they have to reproduce so much, so that they can have the next 17 years.
Quantity over quality. That's the way it goes. Robert, you're the best.
And they aerate your soil. You got a nice lawn? Nothing like cicadas. They when they come up and they burrow down, they aerate your soil.
Well, that's good. We don't have grass out here in Vegas, so that's why I asked about the cicadas, because we don't get them. We just get dust storms and some thunder and lightning once in a while. But okay, we got to.
Awful. I won't know. Okay, thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Robert.
Bye.
It's not as bad as all that, or I wouldn't be here. Again, thanks, Robert. That's again, check out Robert's book. He sent me a couple copies here called Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection. Robert Arend, A-R-E-N-D. Like I said, he's an actual author. That's why I said you should be a writer, because inside funniness. Okay, now let's go. Let's finish this up. So you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing, right? I catch some grief from the UFO community, right? The hopefuls, and they're like, dude. Like I get grief from people, and it's okay. It's fine. Like I said, I'm not trying to be right all the time. It's not it. I just don't trust the government to give us the truth. They don't give us the truth about many things, and so yeah. So let's go back to Jay. I like finishing up with Jay because it's kind of like one of those familiar situations where you're like, yeah, let's do the outro with Jay. This is the Troubled Minds outro with Jay. What's up, Jay? Welcome back to the show. How are you, buddy?
Good, Mike. Am I muted?
No, you're good, man. We can hear you.
I had you in my pocket. You told me to mute when we were having that conversation one day and just sit there because it's easier for me to listen.
I got you, buddy. You're back.
The one thing that I want to say is the Hadron Collider thing that you were talking about a lot earlier, that was like 10,000 light years long in order to get it up to speed.
Yep.
Could that be like the fuel source? I mean, something as simple as that, you know? Are we overthinking the whole thing? Because nobody's ever told us anything.
Fuel source for what?
To get us to, I don't know, Alpha Centauri, so we can hang out with those guys on the fringe. Broadcast live from there.
I think it's just a hypothetical. So the term occurred to me. So it's vacuum decay is what they were afraid of with CERN, and they said they could create a runaway vacuum decay that could, in the snap of a finger, at the speed of light, just destroy the Earth. And so what Avi Loeb was talking about in his paper was a much larger version of that same thing that could destroy like an entire galaxy, or at least solar system, probably like galactic in scope. And so what he was describing was just a treaty. I mean, I don't know. I think he's being a hypothetical astrophysicist.
Did Einstein have that same concern when they were
nukes,
talking about the nuclear? Yeah, I mean, well, wait a minute, man. Where's it going to stop?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. So again, I don't know. I don't have those answers, but I think he was just kind of hyper speculating on the sense that if aliens could accidentally destroy us, that maybe some sort of intergalactic treaty should be in order, right? Very much like the nuclear treaty, like you said, I think of 1963.
They're going to give our soul reparations or something like that? Oh, damn it. Sorry. We killed every one of you on the planet.
Well,
you all go to heaven.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
sorry.
Exactly. I think it becomes a moot point after that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So like I said, you already say what you expect out of the government here. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to keep talking about this. Like I said, I don't have those answers. I wish I did. That's part of this game here, is that if there's anybody out there that tells you they know everything about the UFOs, I think you should probably run as fast as possible. And there's so few people that are willing to do that, right? You turn on Stephen Greer and he's like, "Oh, you meditate and bring the UFOs to you," right? Which some people have suggested you're summoning demons. It's like, wait a minute, what? And other people are like, no, I've got inside sources, and I'll tell you what, the UFOs are this or that or the other thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is a slippery fish, and I'm not so sure anybody has a good handle on it. So anyway, we're let's see, where are we at time wise? I think we're perfect. We're perfect, man. For like a couple minute outro. I don't know. What's on your mind tonight, Jay? We got a couple minutes to shoot the shit.
I don't know. I was like listening to the guys talking about I think Robert, maybe. I didn't catch the names. I was hard with the names today. But he was talking about the I don't know what you would call it.
Humans from the
evolution.
Future. Humans from the future.
Right. Well, we started off with the disc, and then we started off with the cigars, and now we got the diamonds,
Yeah.
up there in the sky.
The triangles, yep.
So were they the drones, the transport ships, and then the fighters, preparing for when all of them come here? I mean, why would you do it? Why are we going to Mars? Is the dust there the rare earth metal we need for, like somebody said in the chat, for Elon Musk's cars? We don't even want to go there and dig. We just want the dust off the planet. That's what we need to make our microchips.
Well, maybe.
We don't even have to dig for it.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Like I think Kelly was saying there. Somebody said tonight that the real value in space is it's the asteroid belt, right? Like the asteroids are the true value in space. So
there's that one floating around that's gold.
Yeah, whatever, right? Like they
platinum.
Whatever it is. Like there's a ton of rare earth minerals on these things. So I don't know. Like we'll see. Like I said, it seems like we're being sold a bill of goods, in my opinion, with this disclosure stuff. And again, I just hate to be negatives about this all the time, but like I said, it ends up going back into the hands of the government. If this was like a disclosure project from, I don't know, just like a good source. You know what I mean? And, like, I just don't know. Like, you can't trust corporations anymore, right? Because they're like PR liars, and they're going to tell you, oh, it's totally safe, go ahead and drink it, and it's totally not.
Just want to data mine you to see it.
Yeah, that too. Exactly.
Get you the IP beer.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, you can't trust the big corporations. You can't trust the governments because they're going to lie to you also. They'll be like, oh, yeah, take this thing. It's totally safe. We haven't checked it out and confirmed it yet, but go ahead. Like these types of things, it's just like, okay, all right, whatever. I don't know.
Good links in the Discord today, by the way, about that. I'm sure we're not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But like I said, I'm not, please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do or what to think. It's just, I think you should have the ability to think and make up your own mind about these things. And that's where I stand on it. It's don't listen to me. Listen to your heart, and make sure you do your due diligence on decisions you make that may affect the rest of your life, things like that. It's important. But anyway, not to end this on a downer, but like I said, I just don't look up to me. I don't have the answers, guys. It's not it. I'm just here asking some questions and trying to get a good conversation. But all right, let's finish. I'm going to play some outro music. Jay, do your best. J. Edgar Hoover, go.
I just really think that, we're doing the right thing here. We're asking each other questions and let us know the answers to. We'll talk amongst ourselves, do the best that we can. I think that Chevron thing is real because, they all kind of look like an upside down A funky thingy. So maybe that's our location. And yeah, Tomorrowland with Disney. The Disney movie Tomorrowland, where the kid shows up there with a rocket pack. It's this little thing. This little symbol was the thing. We bought them for the Boy Scouts when we took them to Washington, D.C. for their... We saw it at IMAX. That's what it was. It was kind of really similar to the Star Trek symbol and all.
Yeah. Yeah, like we
even Star Wars, it's on the side of their hammer, the helmet. It's kind of that same symbol.
It is. It is.
Location. Is that what it is?
For real estate.
It's.
Jay.
I'm a real estate kind of guy. I'm sorry.
You're good. Fair enough.
Dr. Devious or Dark and Devious is trying to get me into the crypto game, and I'm trying to diversify, but I'm still more of a real estate kind of guy.
Nice. All good. All good. All right, guys. This is the end of the show. Look, this is the thing. Like I said, I don't have the answers here. We're just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. What do you believe? Do you believe aliens are real? Do you believe they're not? What the hell are these lights in the sky? The government says we got a disclosure coming. I'm not so sure. It's not that I disbelieve individuals. It's that I disbelieve the entity that is a government that is vested in 70 years of lies about this exact thing. So anyway, as we finish, what's up? It's like I said, yep, there we go. Cal says it's not an answer show, it's a question show, and that's the damn truth. So as we finish, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific. More Troubled Minds. We'll be here with Ash, the reptilian from Mars, our co-host on Wednesdays. And on Thursday, we have a special guest from Twitter. His name is Armando, and he's a notable guy on Twitter talking about all kinds of things, kind of more in the vein of us, not trying to tell you what you should think, more about asking some questions about what's going on with that. So we'll have a special guest on Thursday as well. And otherwise, we're just doing our thing, kicking it, talking about aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal. We're done. At the end, like I said, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. This is your time to freak out, Jay. You got like 30 seconds.
Oh.
You can go.
I'm sorry.
Make some noises.
You always put me on the spot, Mike. I don't know. I had some serious questions for you today,
Okay.
But
hey, come on.
It's the end of the show.
Well,
it's the end of the show. I mean, every show continues into every other show. I mean, they're blending in together like a smoothie.
Exactly. So it's all good. So we'll make a note of those questions. Make a note of those questions, and we'll do those questions tomorrow. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, everybody else. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. 7 p.m. Pacific, more Troubled Minds coming at you. Have a great night.
Good night.